Just south of downtown Atlanta, Georgia, is the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This track produces some of the most thrilling racing in NASCAR. Combine fast speeds with a threat of the big one around every corner, and you have the recipe for a wild Saturday afternoon for the Xfinity Series. Welcome to Countdown to Green as the Xfinity Series rolls into Atlanta for one of the most unpredictable races of the year. High speeds, high risk, high reward, and a lot on the line with just 3 races left in the regular season. So, Dale Jarrett, why has Atlanta become such a wild card event?
Well, it brings more drivers into the mix that have an opportunity to win, just like we see at Daytona and Talladega. But this is on a 1.5 mile racetrack where decisions have to be made quickly if you're going to try to make that happen. So we have super speedway racing that has handling issues. So but there's still more people with that opportunity to come in here and still win today.
Hi, everyone, from the Peacock Pit Box. Along with the voice you heard, the Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett and Kyle Petty, I'm Marty Snyder. So, KP, to put it into context, Todd Gilliland said after the Cup Series race in the spring, quoting here, "I've never had so much fun and been so worried for my life all at the same time." So that's how he described it. How would you describe the racing at the new Atlanta?
Okay, I looked it up. Controlled chaos. And the definition is something that looks out of control but functions according to unseen rules or organization. So that describes exactly what Todd says. It's a lot of fun sometimes, but you have to fear for your life because you're right on the edge the whole time.
And all of this with 3 races left in the regular season, DJ, at very, very different racetracks. Now, the Cup Series closed out their regular season the last 2 weeks with 2 brand new winners and 2 new playoff participants. Could that happen in the Xfinity Series? And is this a track today where anyone could win?
This is the track. It sets up well for that to happen once again. Not going to be surprised at all to see that happen here today. I think there's a couple of drivers. I could name all 5 or 6, but let's just take Brandon Jones loves this. You know, he's an aggressive racer anyway, and whenever we've seen him in this type situation, he finds his way to the front. And he is a driver that must win if he's going to be a part of the playoffs. The other is Jeb Burton. He's even further back in the points, but you see him at Daytona and Talladega, and even in the previous races here, since we've been doing this since 22 at this track in this configuration, that is willing to take those chances to get himself in a position here to win. So I really believe that we're going to see a new winner here today.
Yeah, and I agree with Dale. I think there's a couple of more guys. I think Parker Retzlaff, we see what he did in the Cup car at Daytona. You look at Anthony Alfredo. He runs good at places like this. And I'm going to throw in a Colleague car. I'm going to throw in Josh Williams. He may park it in Victory Lane, if you get what I'm saying.
Austin Hill will certainly be the favorite today as well. You know, with all the uncertainty, Kyle, there's one thing guaranteed in the Xfinity Series. There's going to be a change at the playoff cut line every week because the last couple of weeks that has swapped every time.
Every week. You go back to Darlington. Ryan Sieg was plus 15 going into Darlington, minus 10 going into Atlanta here. We go into Darlington, Sammy Smith is minus 15, now he's plus 10. It's musical chairs. When the music stops, one of those guys is going to be above and one below. Unless Dale and I are correct and we see a new winner today.
Yeah, and that music stops in 3 weeks. We talked about Austin Hill being the favorite. The Georgia native has been very tough to beat here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Oh my gosh. It's so unbelievable to win at Atlanta.
Oh yeah, boys! Good job! How about that, boys? How about it? They can't stop it! Yeah, we are good at this. You're the man, baby. Oh my God, that fell in our lap.
So awesome to win here at my home track again for the 3rd time.
We are going to be some bad MFers all year, baby. Damn right, baby. We dominated that thing.
Austin Hill has 3 Atlanta wins, the only driver in the field to win on this configuration. I know you didn't have what you wanted in qualifying, but what have you figured out here that nobody else has?
We're just really good at, taking the runs at the right time, controlling the race when we need to. And Derek Nealon, my spotter, and I, we just do a good job working together. Hopefully we do that today. I'm looking forward to working with my teammate, Jesse Love, and hopefully we can keep both of these RCR Chevys up front all day. A lot of people here for Bennett. It's their 50th anniversary weekend, so looking forward to it.
Austin Hill mentioning his teammate Jesse Love. Dave, I think you've got that driver.
I do indeed, and in the February race, it was Jesse Love, the rookie, on pole and dominating the race from the front of the pack. Today, on pole, Jesse Love, now that you're so much older into the season, do you have things that you can bring to this Atlanta race that might help you get to victory lane today?
Yeah, I think so. I think a little bit more maturity on the whole aspect of managing an overtime restart and saving some fuel and maybe losing some track position to save some fuel at the end, right? I think that's going to be really important today, and you're going to have to do that. So going to try to be a little bit smarter about it today, keep our bow tie brigade up front. Got to have Samsara colors, the glasses matching the suit, and looking forward to hopefully leading a trainer on the top here to start, and then obviously taking the gloves off at the end.
All right, good luck this afternoon, Marty. Drivers coming back for a second time. Always good when you're a rookie.
You know, Dave, as Jeff Burton would say, RCR has been hard to guard at these drafting tracks. But, Kyle, let's take stock of the 21 team and kind of where they are. I think a lot of people consider them a championship favorite. But how would you evaluate that team right now?
Well, I think they talk the talk. Now they got to walk the walk because we're at the championship time. We're at that time where they've got to pick up their game. And I think this is a race that they need to send a message to the rest of the field. Hey, the championship is ours. You got to come through us to get it. They need to do that today.
So if Hill's the favorite, DJ, who's his biggest threat?
Yeah, make no mistake, he is the favorite. He can do things without help where others have to have help. But Jesse Love was getting the job done here. I like the way he drives. He won at Talladega also, so he enjoys this style of racing. I think that's Austin Hill's biggest threat right out of his own organization.
Yeah, and I look at Justin Allgaier. You go to Justin Allgaier. My man, Justin Allgaier, has more experience in this race than Jesse Love, than Austin Hill, than all these other guys. I mean, he's just been here. He's done it. He's seen it. He's walked the walk. He's been through every bit of this. So he's a guy that can come into this race and take control of this championship and take control of this race all at the same time. And I think that is a huge moment for him going into the playoffs.
And won the last drafting race at Daytona as well. Another candidate might be Cole Custer, coming off a strong second place at Darlington. Custer is with Dave Burns.
Well, Marty, in the chaos that was February, Cole was one of those Fords that ran out of fuel and finished 18th. I don't think it really depicted how good your car was, but how much better do you think it can be today based on qualifying?
I think we're looking forward to it. I feel like this is the best car we've had here in Atlanta, qualifying third. So JT and the guys and everybody at the shop did a great job at SHR, and excited to have Autodesk on the car. It's always fun having them at the racetrack and Ford, but this is a crazy race. I mean, you definitely want the track position, and we have that starting out, so hopefully we can just stay up there and have a good handling car too, because it's going to be a little bit dusty and have the track work in to start.
Crazy may be the word of the day.
Another near win last weekend for Sheldon Creed. How do you reset, refocus on what you need to do here today, still looking for that first series victory?
I mean, I just try to treat each week like it's happened so many times now. So, yeah, just try to bounce back Monday and do all the same things, work hard, and, yeah, I don't know, have a good looking CW GR Super this week. So, yeah, just excited to be racing. I wish we raced more, honestly. Just excited to be in the car again. Speedway racing this week, a little different. Got a lot of speed in it, qualified fifth, so probably going to try to fight for some track position early and, yeah, see how the day goes.
5 straight finishes of 8th or better for Sheldon on super speedways. Marty?
Sheldon mentioned it, Kim. CW, Friday, September 20th, the NASCAR Xfinity Series comes to the CW. It all starts at Bristol, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. will join the field in the final race of the regular season. NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Bristol, Friday, September 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on the CW. How about that paint scheme, the CW paint scheme on Sheldon's car
It looks
this weekend,
good.
Kyle?
Looks a little Halloweenish. I'll give it a little bit of that. So that's exciting, but at the same time, welcome to NASCAR CW. That CW and NASCAR together looks great.
DJ, you had some very pointed comments in defense of Sheldon Creed last week after Darlington. He's still missing the win, but what should his mindset be coming into the playoffs?
Well, hopefully, maybe somebody told him what I said, that stay off social media and just do his job. But I think his mindset is, hey, I'm finishing second a lot. I'm running up front. I'm putting myself in position. We have everything in place except for that checkered flag. He is doing everything. Look, if he went into the playoffs and finished second in half the races there, he's probably going to come out the champion or be right there at it, racing for a championship. So just continue to do what you're doing and focus on making the right decisions each time at the end of the race.
Well, it's always busy here in Atlanta. In fact, Hartsfield International Airport, the busiest airport in the world, Kyle. Over 100 million passengers every year. Often the traffic in downtown reflects that. Usher, Ludacris, and Jason Aldean all call Atlanta home. And now for 64 years, there's been NASCAR racing right here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Fans, download the official app of NASCAR. Follow the action with free live scoring, in-car cameras, and radio broadcast. You can also upgrade to premium for full access to driver audio channels and an ad-free experience. Search NASCAR in your app store and start a free trial today.
Only 2 weeks in a row, Baylor.
I think him just not having his head screwed on right.
How about that 100K winner? Come on, baby! Yeah!
You were as fast as Xfinity Internet today, that's for sure.
Two guys going for the same real estate come together.
No matter what comment I say, it'll be wrong, so I plead the fifth.
Great job, everyone. That is awesome. Woo! Take it off, man. Stay focused. He's just an idiot.
I wouldn't know if I owe him one. He's going to call me this week and apologize and then show me his Superman photo or whatever the hell he does on top of his car.
Woo! Race over, guys.
Hell yeah, man. Way to do it. Proud of you.
Good job, buddy. Congratulations.
This season's had everything for the Xfinity Series, all leading to this, DJ. Pretty good bet this picture will change by the end of the day.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt, but as we can see, that with the playoffs and if they were going to start, exactly what drivers would have to carry through the playoffs. I think that's the most important thing on some of these drivers' minds right now, finishing as high up as they can and adding to those playoff points that could help. And we never know when one might move you into the next round of the playoffs.
Happen in the Cup Series for the regular season championship. Let's hear from both of the drivers near the playoff bubble, starting with Sammy Smith, who's with Dave.
Well, Marty, certainly is a lot on Sammy Smith's mind. The bubble being right there, you're just above it. But what's up with the qualifying of 19th? Is there any particular reason for that? Any concerns for you?
No concerns as of right now. Hopefully the handling will come into a factor with it being hot and slick. That's kind of how we seem to set our stuff up today. So hopefully that's the case, and we can make our way to the front. I know it's going to be a long, hot race, and hopefully we can get up there, get stage points, stage 1 and 2, and be there at the end.
All right, is today the day? Ryan is asking me, let's ask him. You come in 10 points below the elimination line. You've jumped back and forth to the good and then to the bad. Knowing anything can happen at super speedway style racing, how do you approach today to get back on the right side of the points?
Just do all I can do, go try to win this thing and get as many points as we can. And we've already started today off right, qualifying ahead of the two we're racing. So that's a good start. We just got to maintain our track position and try to, hopefully our car's psyops forward fast enough to stay up with them and try to get up to the top 5 and try to win this thing at the end with some strategy or anything we can do to try to win. But just try to get as many points as we can. So all in all, I think we've started off better than we have the first race. So we got going in the positive direction. So I'm excited to get here, excited to have all the fans and family and everyone here at Atlanta. So it's exciting for me, and hopefully we get to get that win today.
And Marty, how exciting would it be for Ryan Sieg to win in his home state of Georgia?
Yeah, from up the road in Tucker, Georgia. So time is running out for either one of those drivers to claim a spot in the playoffs. So, DJ, give me a path for a driver in the next 3 races to make the playoffs, and you'll start with Ryan Sieg.
Yeah, and so I'll say this first, that Ryan and Sammy both are in a tough spot. They want to race. They know this is a win opportunity here today, but they also have to gather stage points and as many points as they can get at the end of the day. But for Ryan Sieg, I think this is the opportunity. We saw him run and have a top 5 finish at Daytona. I think he has to take advantage of this. I believe that Sammy Smith has the advantage in the 2 races coming up.
Yeah, they both got to make their own path, and they've got to be consistent. Sammy Smith has to be consistent. He's got to put 3 races together. So far, he's not been able to put 1 race together. So the pressure is on him to come out and consistently run in the top 10, top 15, and get some stage points.
Now that Atlanta Motor Speedway is a drafting track, that means spotters play a bigger role than ever. For the pre-race show, Jeff Burton is our eye in the sky. Jeff, is the spotter role at Atlanta any different than Daytona and Talladega?
Well, Marty, it really is. I'm up here hanging out with the spotters, and the reason it's more difficult is because things happen quicker. It's a 1.5 miles, but it races like a super speedway. The corners are tighter, the radiuses are tight. You're wide open in the gas, but when a move comes from behind, these guys, they got to be on it. They got to be telling their driver immediately, go to the top, go to the bottom. Spotters today much more help these drivers drive race cars on this type of racetrack than ever before. And I want to tell you, the reason I'm wearing these glasses, it's a challenging situation for them today. This white surface on the bottom, on the ground up here, it's like a mirror. It is just immediately just blasting them with sunlight, and it's a challenging situation. And look, I'm an indoor guy, Marty. I'm a guy in the booth. It's hot out here today. I am surprised how warm it is, and that is going to make the cars not drive well.
Yeah, it certainly is warm, and that's almost like snow skiing, Kyle, right? Yeah. When that snow really reflects the sunshine. So, you know, if you count Indy, Michigan, and Daytona, today will mark the 4th drafting race in the last 5 for the Xfinity Series. Can the drivers in the field today kind of pick up anything from those other races, Kyle?
Yes, I think so. Drafting is an art. Drafting is something you learn. Drafting is muscle memory. Drafting is the more reps you get, the more you're able to transfer it. So I think every racetrack that you run during the year leads to these races towards the end of the year where you should have it perfected by now.
So having said that, DJ, it's a very large sample set from which to take, but what organization has stood out to you over those 4 drafting races?
You know, Joe Gibbs Racing over the years has been able to go and win pretty much anywhere, but the one thing that they have been hurt at is racing at Daytona and the speeds at Michigan. They have been much better these last 2 races that are somewhat like what this racing will be here this afternoon. So they've been really impressive. A lot more speed for them, giving their drivers chances to make those moves they need to.
And I think the Colleague organization has stood out to me in recent weeks. I look at Colleague and I say, okay, finally they decided to show back up. They built their reputation on speedway races. That's where we first noticed them, running up front at Daytona, running up front at Talladega. We talk about them on the road courses, but this is a place. AJ finished 3rd at Daytona. This is a place they can win.
Coming up, we'll try to narrow in on when the chaos will happen at Atlanta today. At least we'll give our best guess. Plus, pre-race ceremonies are coming up next here in the ATL. Atlanta Motor Speedway, one of the most unpredictable races of the year, comes with 3 races to go in the regular season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Plenty of speed, chaos, and unpredictability on tap this afternoon. DJ, that chaos often happens in stage 1. Why is that?
Lack of practice. These drivers, a lot of young drivers in this, they're wanting to go. They know this is an opportunity. They really don't know what their car is going to do when they get out there around other cars, but they're still trying to make it go.
That's such a great point, man. They don't know what they have, but they've got to make something happen with what they have. And that is the reason that so much chaos happens in the first segment.
So Kyle, then, can you take it easy and ride in the back and wait until stage 3 to go?
A few guys can. But they're not going to be in a race, so it doesn't make any difference. But Ryan Sieg, Sammy Smith, they've got to be cautiously aggressive. They've got to protect themselves, but grab every opportunity that comes their way.
At some point in time, you have to know exactly what your car is going to do and where you need to be as this race winds down.
Big day for a lot of drivers who cannot afford to take it easy. They have to play it very aggressive here at Atlanta today. Time for today's pre-race ceremonies.
Please rise as you are able, remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the United States Special Operations Command Joint Service Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome from Go Church in Sharpsburg, Georgia, Pastor Chad Whittle.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you so much for this beautiful day. We thank you for life. We just thank you that we get to get up this morning. God, I pray for the families that were impacted by the tragic events that took place this past week, Father. We just pray your provision over them, protection, encourage. Pray that you would navigate them through this difficult time, that they would have peace. Father, we thank you for the brave men and women who serve our country. We couldn't do this without them, Father. And God, I just pray for the race drivers that are racing here this afternoon, that you would have your hand upon them and protect them. Protect us as we go about our way home today. And we love you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from Henry County Fire Rescue Department, Lieutenant Rodney Brooks.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Just a beautiful day here in Atlanta. Green flag for the Xfinity Series is moments away. We'll get the engines fired here at Atlanta Motor Speedway next.
Never give up. Way to fight, Tandem.
Every person in the world wants to race here, and I won here.
Great job, everyone. That is awesome. Oh, we won, baby. Woo! The race over. Good job, buddy. Congratulations. Holy 2 weeks in a row. Yeah!
You never know who could win in the Xfinity Series. The last 7 races, 7 different winners. Sam Mayer would love to make it 8 for 8. And the one team needs something good to happen. Their last 4 finishes, 37th, 37th, 13th, and 28th. Marty Lindley, as crew chief, told me they're banking on today being the turnaround they need. Mayer's best drafting results have come right here with 3 straight finishes of 11th or better. They're hoping for another good result today and some positive momentum, Dave.
Shane Van Gisbergen, the 97 driver, is new to the Xfinity Series this year, but he now has 3,200 laps of experience. When I talked to him this morning, he said that is key for him. He's learned how to do this Xfinity Series racing, even at Atlanta, which is a crazy way to do it. He feels like that experience today will be beneficial to him. He's already locked in the playoffs. Now it's just about learning and getting to victory lane. Kim?
Well, Dave, Parker Kligerman and this number 48 team always feel good when they come to super speedways. In fact, crew chief Patrick Donahue told me they feel like they deserve a win here. He said they've always run up front at Atlanta with Parker and every driver who has been in the seat prior to him. The team's best finish this season came a couple of weeks ago at Daytona, another drafting track where Parker finished 3rd. This team is so strong when it comes to this style racetrack. Although Parker qualified 16th, that is not a concern. He said, look for me out front, guys.
So, DJ, at drafting tracks, drivers often make plans to partner with other drivers to help them get to the front, but they all say it's harder to do here at Atlanta than it is at Daytona and Talladega. Why?
100% harder, and every driver that I talked to today, Xfinity or Cup, talked about the quick decision making that you have to do here. You can't be looking for a partner. You might find them by accident, but it's so much harder here because the straightaways are so much shorter.
Yeah, you just stumble onto a partner and then you claim it to show how smart you are. Because things happen so fast, you can't make those decisions.
So you mean all those times back in the day, Kyle, where you worked out something with a teammate, that doesn't apply here at Atlanta?
That goes out the window here in Atlanta, except when it comes to going to dinner, buddy.
Yeah, you just got to draft with whoever's around you, and then you make the dinner reservation later. Let's get the engines fired here in Atlanta.
And now race fans here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome the Lieutenant of Operations from Henry County Fire Rescue Department, Jason Gruber.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Focused Health, Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Henry County Fire, thank you. Now it's time. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Okay, Cole.
Could there be a new winner and a new playoff driver? We're about to find out. Green flag for the Xfinity Series at Atlanta is next here on USA.
Been running fast, crossing county lines just to make my name in the city. I worked for this for all these years and I wouldn't break or back down. I fought through all my fears and all of my frustrations. I see the light is getting clear. I know I'm taking it down. It's my time. I'm taking it now.
It's been a wild 2024 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Next up, the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which has a 64-year history, but this is a brand new Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's now a drafting track here at AMS. High speeds, high risk, high reward, and with 3 races left in the regular season, there is so much on the line. 16 drivers know a win today changes their entire season with an automatic spot in the playoffs. But is the move to get the win worth the risk? That's the question they'll be asking themselves all 250 miles today, Dave.
Marty, track position is a phrase we will talk about a lot today. If a driver gets it, he wants to keep it. If he doesn't have it, he wants to get it. And the pit crew can be a whole lot about that. The crews on pit road will try to gain more for their driver right here on pit road, or they'll try to keep what they already have. They don't need to be the fastest overall. They just need to not make mistakes and keep their driver in contention to try to get to victory lane, Kim.
Just 3 races remain to determine who will earn the last 4 spots in the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. And those tracks could not look any more different. Like Marty said, today, a fast 1.5 miles. You have to master the draft. Next week, 2.45 miles of twists and turns at Watkins Glen. And then finally, the high-banked concrete of Bristol, the world's fastest half mile. It is a 3-race shootout. Who will get to run for a title? Rick, let's find out.
And Kim, Atlanta Motor Speedway is now racing as a super speedway. So definitely uncertainty is out there in front of us. NASCAR Xfinity Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Focused Health 250. Hello, everyone, alongside the mayor, Jeff Burton, and our crew chief, Steve Letarte, Rick Allen with you. So lap 1 of this race will be the first time that there'll be more than 1 car on this racetrack this weekend. What can we expect?
Chaos, in a word. You know, it's a super speedway, as you said, but it's on a 1.5 mile racetrack, Steve. This is not a great big wide racetrack. It is a small 1.5 miles, but you're wide open in the throttle having to make things happen.
The space is what multiplies the speed. We aren't going to see max speeds of the year, but we're still going to be fast, 180 or 185 miles an hour. But now let's take those speeds and condense them. This is like taking any sport and condensing the arena, and that's what these drivers have to do. Where a normal speedway is to be breaking up a few hundred feet, here it'll be tens of feet. That's what they're splitting up in these corners. There's just not a lot of room, yet the drivers somehow find space for 3 and even 4 wide action.
Oh, can't wait to see that. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup. Familiarity at the front of this pack because Jesse Love has won the pole once again. Taylor Gray will make up the other car on row 1. All right, Jeff, let's dial up the driver of the 39, Ryan Sieg.
Ryan, it's guys in the booth. You with us?
First year yellow. And so I'll remind you.
Give them a little bit of time here. Hey, Ryan, it's the guys up in the booth. You got us?
Yep, got y'all.
All right, this is a hometown race for you, but also a lot on the line, trailing Sammy Smith by a few points. Can you make it happen today? If you can, how are you going to do it?
I think we can make it happen. Just got to pick the right lanes, and hopefully there's some 2 wide racing, not like we saw it in the spring, and we'll get racy and try to get as many stage points and try to find ourselves with some track position and try to win this thing for SciAps and Ford and in front of the hometown crowd. So we're going to put on a good show, make it exciting. Hopefully we get some 2 wide racing going here in Atlanta.
We talk about super speedway racing, but this is on a much smaller track. How intense does that make it when it does get 2 and 3 wide?
Super intense here. They're a handful to try to run 2 wide here. It's going to be a handful, but I'm up for the challenge and ready to do it and get after it today.
Thank you. Good luck.
Love being able to chat with a driver right before he takes the green flag. For a few more stories before that green flag comes out, let's go to Marty.
Rick, when A.J. Allmendinger has been full-time in the Xfinity Series, he normally has a few wins in the bank by this time of the season. This year, they don't have that. In fact, he has 0 playoff points, but the Dinger told me he's not going to force things to get playoff points over the next 3 weeks. His focus, just keep developing the newfound pace they have at Colleague over the last few weeks. But considering how good they were at Daytona a few weeks ago, you can expect the 16 to be very aggressive coming from the back of the pack today, Dave.
A lot of eyes will be on the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He's won here at Atlanta before, but on the old configuration. So how risky will he be? He is the regular season leader by just 28 points over Cole Custer with 3 races remaining. remaining. Does he jeopardize that to go for more? He needs bonus points for the playoffs. Will he go for that? Starting 10th today, Allgaier will have some decisions to make, Kim.
Well, although Chandler Smith already has 2 wins this season and is locked into the playoffs, this team is desperate to find some consistency as they prepare for a title run. Crew Chief Jeff Mendering admitted the team had been in a little bit of a funk most of the summer and hasn't had the finishes they feel like they deserve. He told me they need to build confidence back into the team before the playoffs start, and the best way to do that, well, is to win. He finished second in the race here earlier this year and second a couple of weeks at Daytona. We'll see if today is the day for the 81.
Thanks, Kim. Marty just mentioned A.J. Allmendinger doesn't have any playoff points up to this point in the season. The regular season just 3 races away from being concluded. You take a look at the playoff standings. Allgaier has been dominant when it comes to grabbing playoff points. He has won 13 stages already in 2 races. That's how he got to his 23 points. Let's listen in to the 8 radio. A little pep talk as they're just above the playoff line, cut line.
All right, everybody. Thank y'all for the hard work this week. There's no doubt in my mind we're the most prepared team out here, most focused, most hungry. Let's be there at the end. Go kick some.
Yep, 10-4. Thank you guys for all the hard work getting switched over to execute our plan we talked about throughout the week. Let's go have a good day.
Execute the plan. You know, that's easier said than done. And, you know, I spent some time with the spotters on top of the roof before the race, and that's a really important role on this race. Is the spotter needs to understand that plan also so he can help the driver execute it, Dave.
See Sammy Smith now coming off of pit road, having checked the speed of pit road with his team, including new crew chief Philip Bell. He was swapped over from the 9 car of Brandon Jones at Junior Motorsports this week. I asked Philip if he'd ever worked with Sammy before. He said, nope, this is the first time. And our goal is to put Sammy in the best position to make the playoffs and then to have a championship run. Remember, he starts just 10 points above the cut line with 3 to go, Marty.
Well, Dave, for the other side of that, yes, a complete swap of teams between the 8 and the 9 at Junior Motorsports, except for the spotter. Josh Williams is still the spotter for Brandon Jones. He told me I wanted to make sure that I kept that relationship, especially here at Atlanta. But a complete team swap. Remember, next year, Brandon Jones, it was announced this week, officially moving on to Joe Gibbs Racing, Kim.
Well, there's always so much talk when it comes to super speedways about Austin Hill. But if we look the last 5 races at Atlanta, who has earned the second most points to Hill? Well, that would be Riley Herbst. His team's so confident about his abilities here at this style racetrack. In fact, when I talked to crew chief Davin Restivo, he didn't hesitate. He said Riley is one of the best in the garage when it comes to this style of racing. This team just has to get consistent over the next 3 weeks before the playoffs start. Their goal, a top 5 run, but what would be better? A win to earn those 5 extra bonus points into the playoffs.
And momentum is another thing that winning here at Atlanta or Watkins Glen or Bristol gives you as you get ready to start the playoffs. Steve, let's talk about the numbers here in this race.
Well, we've talked a lot about the style of racing, but the race itself, 40 lap stage 1, 40 lap stage 2. That final stage, 83 laps, fuel window 75 to 80. In the spring, it was all about saving enough gas to make that final stage without a pit stop. I assume we will see the same thing today.
7 of Justin Allgaier. We just talked about him being at the top of the list as far as playoff standings. He's also at the top of the list as far as regular season points. Let's listen into his radio and hear his pep talk.
It's been a lot. I know this style of racing requires a lot of effort, a lot of work. We got a hot rod, so let's go have ourselves a good day on pit road, and we'll get back what we lost last week, and we're going to go forward. And I appreciate you guys.
He calls it the Mayo Missile. So we'll see.
It's sticking with me. That's a good nickname. I like it. I like it.
Hellman's on the side for Allgaier. I think he started his playoff beard a little bit early, too. Looks to be growing that out to get started for the 2024 season. So many times we hear the words, this is anybody's race. Anybody can win here. But I think KP put it best. Drafting is an art. And obviously, Austin Hill is very good at it. Who challenges Austin Hill today?
I think his biggest challenge is the car right in front of him. You're looking on board with Austin Hill, that Bennett transportation camera. I think his teammate, the 2 of Jesse Love, dominant in the spring. Great car so far this weekend.
A couple yellow stripes on the bumpers of those cars making up row number 1. That indicates rookie status. Jesse Love Gray.
Ready.
Green flags in the air. We're racing in Atlanta. It's super speedway racing, and at Daytona and Talladega, that means they can't lock bumpers. Here, they can, and we see the two getting pushed out in front by the 21 of Austin Hill, and so the RCR cars separating themselves, running first and second.
The 3 wide back there, a couple more rows. As you see, the top lane instantly has the run on board with the 27 of Jeff Burton and that State Water Heaters camera. You see 3 wide in front. And not very stable. You see the back of the cars dancing around.
There's more 3 wide as we see Sammy Smith in the 8 making the move on the outside of Anthony Alfredo in that 5.
A little more organization on the top. See the 15. Lawless Allen, he had some trouble with his car getting in the corner.
Back, still lined up outside. All good.
Lost a little momentum and he fell back a few spots.
As we were talking to Ryan Sieg before the race, he talked about wanting to see double file racing, and this is what he was talking about. This front group, they've all worked together. They're in line. They're not going to challenge each other at this point. They're going to try to get away from the crowd behind them.
But you see how it stacks up. That 3rd place car, the 81 of Chandler Smith, was out of the gas on corner entry into 3. I don't know if the car just didn't drive well, but it kind of stacked Allgaier up, and behind Allgaier, Gray did a nice job of not getting into him. Now Allgaier says, you know what? You're out of the gas so much, I'm going to come to the outside and try to pass you off too.
As he falls back. There was a little contact there. So the 31 got into the back of the 15 here.
Yeah, well, the 15 is like he doesn't know he's there or something, or maybe his car's loose and he had to steer it down there. That 7 car looks sporty right now. He went around the outside of Chandler Smith, and his car through the corner looks very stable.
Yeah, as he drives up to the rear bumper with really no concern.
And the question is, you have somebody that can go with you, right? He could maybe pop out of line and try to make a move, but he just passed Chandler Smith, whose car wasn't handling well, and look at the gap. Chandler can't go with him right now. His car doesn't drive well enough.
And I think if you're the 7, there's no reason to be too forceful with 34 laps to go on the stage. I think you just kind of take your time. You're in a really good spot right there.
Having 2 teammates, RCR teammates in Love and Hill out in front, really kind of dictating this race. As a competitor, what can Allgaier do?
Well, I think that's the big issue, right? If Allgaier turns underneath the 21 or goes on the outside of him, he has to have somewhere to go. Right, there has to be a gap between the 2 and the 21 that he can fill, or somebody go with him and he'll try to pass both of them. Right now, I agree with you, Steve. You know, Chandler Smith was kind of giving it to him. You know, his car just wasn't driving well enough, so it was easy for him to pass. But unless he has some help, there's nowhere to go right now.
We're in trouble. Who said that? That's the question now. Sammy Smith on the bottom. And
that was
Sam Mayer on the 1.
That was Allgaier talking about Austin Hill, saying Austin Hill was in trouble, and I suspect that he's looking at his car and can see it moving around. He can see he's not stable. His car's not driving well.
I got to get a little clean air here. Plus 30.
Oh, I think he's talking about water temperature, plus 30 clean air. So, you know, which is a little concerning because I know he's in traffic, but he's single file, so it should be seeing quite a bit of air already.
The pressure relief valve on these, they can set them at their own level, Steve?
So basically the surge tanks, the amount of water each car holds is required to be inspected by NASCAR. How much pressure you plan on running is a set number, but all of these cars can push water, so you have a temperature limit that you're looking for. Just like your radiator cap on your car at home, you can only get it so hot, and finally it'll let the pressure open before the radiator slams shut.
The 7 car is way faster than the 21. He could easily pull up next to him. He just doesn't know that he has the help.
if he pulls up next to him, can he side draft him and pull him back and create a spot for himself?
Well, the problem is if everybody recognizes that at 7 cars fast, nobody's going to go with him. You know, they can stay on the outside of him, and then he'd go all the way to the back of this line. So he just doesn't trust the people behind him to make that move right now.
And now there's multiple packs around this racetrack. It's not a half a lap that separates them, but it's pretty close from front to back. And problems with the 39. Ryan Sieg slow on the front stretch.
Yeah, I don't see any damage.
What do you got? Coil wire came off inside the car.
Talk about electrical wire off inside the car. So obviously something he feels he can see from the dash where he can see the issue. Was running 7th.
Try to cycle if we can.
And look how Ryan Sieg has now fallen below the top 12 positions. He's 30 points back.
And with no power just off the exit of turn 2, I'd be shocked if this doesn't bring out a yellow.
Yeah, he's not going to make it all the way back around. There's an access road through 3 and 4, but he's not even going to get to that. Anthony Alfredo's on pit road in the 5.
I think he has a flat tire. I think there was some wall contact with the right side of the 5.
Oh, that's disappointing for the 5 because the caution's going to come out. Alfredo's car just got tight behind those other guys. Just couldn't keep it out of the wall. We talk about handling, how it matters, and that's a great example.
So the 5 on pit road, but it was the 39 that's not able to continue that brought this caution out. So hometown Ryan Sieg struggling in the 39 early here at Atlanta. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express Card. 8 is now on pit road. Dave.
And Sammy Smith coming to pit road here. He'll take on 2 right side Goodyear tires and take on 2 more. We'll see if we can find out exactly why the 8 came down this early, Marty.
Yeah, a lot of cars deciding to come down here with 26 to go in stage 1, including A.J. Allmendinger, who said it was, quote, miserable coming from the back. He made it up to 22nd for A.J. He said he thinks tires are actually going to matter a little bit more. Stevie said the track is a lot slicker than he remembers it being in February.
Well, the other thing from here is I don't think you need to pit at the end of the stage, and you can run all the way to the end of stage 2 if you'd like. So you could try to work some strategy and try to rotate to the front.
How about the 39 talking about a coil wire?
Well, he said that the coil wire came off. So one thing, you know, Xfinity cars right here is basically the electronics, right? That's where the coil, the ignition box, all of those are up on the dash. So, you know, I hear a lot of times drivers kind of thinking what's going on with it. The coil wire coming off is pretty specific, Jeff. So all I can figure is he could literally see it falling off on the dash in front of him.
Yeah, he saw it and could identify the issue, Dave, and they jumped in there and got it fixed.
And Jeff, this is tough for the team that prepares this car just 50 miles up the road in Tucker, Georgia, northeast suburb of Atlanta, and they came here with high hopes. They can still get it done today, what they need to do. But as he comes to pit road here, you can see the replay. They're pointing right to it. Tommy, the engine tuner there, pointing to it and getting after it, making sure the window's back in as well. That's the other thing. You got to seal this car back up and make sure it is right for racing for Ryan Sieg. So as they go to work now, they'll change tires here, give them an actual pit stop, and change the Goodyear tires and fill them full of fuel.
Yeah, that's exceptionally frustrating because that's, you know, that's just a mistake that no team should make, right? That's just an easy application. And for that, you saw how easy he pushed it back on there. That's just an unforced error.
Yeah, the connection to the coil is much like a spark plug wire. You know, it kind of has a rubber boot and it just snaps in place. And like you said, Jeff, those are just the simple mistakes that can easily eliminate you. He's still in the race, is still rolling, but at 2 laps down, with Alfredo being 1 lap down, it gets to be more difficult at this point. Marty.
Steve, for a driver sitting in 16th, Sam Mayer has a lot of confidence. Here's his conversation with Marty Lindley under the last caution. Listen.
Sam, what do you got for balance right there?
This is the best Atlanta car you've ever built, Marty. Perfect.
Copy that.
The best car you've ever built. Hey, Steve, I know it's stage 1, right? But when your driver's saying that early in the race, it's got to make you feel pretty good.
I've never heard a car described as perfect. I didn't know that was possible. That just shows that the young driver, Sam Mayer, hasn't found all the things to pick it apart. You've never called a car perfect, have you, Jeff?
That was a major mistake. You don't ever do that. You know, the crew chief will never let him live that down.
Your New Hampshire car was probably perfect, wasn't it?
It was but way, a lot of things could have been better.
So what you're saying then is the driver had a lot to do with that thing.
No,
making
I'm saying that it's never good enough.
Never good enough. That's right. Never good enough.
Now it's going to be the 18, that CW car. They'll be on the inside of row 1. Jesse Love on the outside as we get back to racing here in Atlanta. Cole Custer trying to push Silver Creed in front of Jesse Love. But it's Austin Hill who has the best shove now, and Jesse is going to be out front again, and the 7 is working with those 2 cars. So a 3-car line able to push right past the 18, and Sheldon Creed will fall into that 4th spot.
Pretty interesting. The top 4 cars all chose the outside lane to try to get that outside lane going. That did not work out well for Chandler Smith. 2 to 3 cars got in between he and Allgaier.
Now that high line working, low line looked like Parker Kligerman was trying to lead that lower line. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of help behind him. Shane Van Gisbergen in the 97. Trying to get to his back bumper.
Yeah, so watch what happens right here. The 48 on the bottom of the racetrack. They just are so much faster on the straights. Now, when they get to the corner, he's running the shorter way around. He breaks even, gains a little bit on corner exit, but then down the straightaway, here they go.
And looks like Dawson Cram in the 74 has an issue.
I don't know what's making it laid down. All the shifts were fine, but got off into 1 and 2, it stuttered.
Sounds like an engine issue for the 74. We'll see if it can make it back around. Middle of the backstretch right here as the field is in the middle of 1 and 2. Once again, organize the top 12 to 15 cars, single file, right around the top. I think some of this is patience, some of this is teammates at the front.
Remember in qualifying earlier today, we saw 3 cars that broke the 32-second mark in qualifying, and now everyone is running mid-31-second laps as they work together around this 1.5-mile track. Austin Hill in the 21, running second right now, Kim.
Yeah, and Austin Hill, so good at these tracks, understands what you need to do to hold off the field and understands how important teammates are. Here was his plan for he and Jesse Love after that first run. Take a listen.
Do you want me to see if I can have Brandon have Jesse run a little bit higher so that way you can poke that headlight out to the left, and that way you know that you're still safe enough to where they can't poke to your outside? Does that make sense? Yeah, I think it would help. It makes it a little tougher when he's running the middle.
So again, there you heard Austin spotter Derek Nealon talking about how he'll work with Brandon Benesh, Jesse spotter, the 2 of them working together, Dave, to try and hold off that 7 of Justin Allgaier.
Hold off Allgaier. Some saying he ought to just chill out right now. That might have been the driver right in front of Allgaier of Jesse Love back there. But Jesse running in the lead position, the 2 car. He told me this morning, I think what I've learned over the course as the 7 now coming down, Allgaier's got it. Rick, you take it.
Big run for the 7 of Allgaier. He got to the inside of that 2. We've seen him be very strong running behind the 21. Can he complete the pass on his own?
That's the problem. See, he did not clear Jesse Love. Now, Austin Hill's going to try to fill this hole. He gets there. How far back will this 7-car go?
Will there be an opening? Will anyone go with the 7 of Allgaier? Right now, he's on an island.
Well, I agree with what Jeff said. I think he has proven that he's one of the best cars. Just the pace of the 7 and the driving, how he's able to pull to the rear bumper of the car in front. So all of these cars want to eliminate him. as the 7 slides up right here. He's going to try to slide in line, unable to do it. This is impressive by the 7, though, continuing to battle.
He's starting to create a gap. Oh, contact.
Little contact there as the 7 has to go down the racetrack. Jesse Love came down as the 7 was trying to side draft, still trying to clear the 2 on his own.
Everyone else is scratching their head because there's no way their car is going to do that, and they're just wondering how the 7 pulls it off. I think he's going to clear the 2 right here. Overdrive the entry and slide up in front of the 2, just like that, clear for the lead.
Side drafted the 2, and now Allgaier leading in Atlanta.
And that's given some other drivers confidence. If Allgaier can make that move, then let's try to make it ourselves.
It sounded like Jim Pullman mentioned something about patience. Allgaier out in front. Now maybe he can be patient.
Well, it's way easier out front. Remember, he had that overheating issue early. They didn't come to pit road, so we haven't heard an update after the yellow. But they didn't pull tape. I don't think it's going to fix itself. Now leading, it should get more than enough air where the 7 can just be patient.
A couple drivers using that lower line now after watching what Allgaier was able to do.
And they're also seeing guys that cars aren't handling very well. You're seeing some, this 19 car, I've seen multiple times. He has been way out of the gas in the middle of the corner. And then watch this guy, watch this. Taylor Gray, Brandon Jones, the exit of turn 2. Taylor's having issues staying in the gas. He's having to lift right here. Brandon Jones right behind him. They did a good job working that out. Then right after that, Brandon Jones trying to get to the outside, gets him to the wall.
The 7, the side draft getting really aggressive. The front stretch pretty undefined what straight is. Just a little bit of a bang on the doors.
Just a little bit of a bang.
Yeah, as long as you don't flatten the
plus
tire.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
So Allgaier's out in front now of Jesse Love, Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, and Cole Custer all in the top 5. Herbst Jones, Chandler Smith, Mayer, and Gray all a part of the top 10.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills.
Hello?
Should you become stranded, be ready to signal rescuers. Bush.
How long have I been out here?
About 12 minutes. Head for the mountains.
Looking for a refreshing change? Say goodbye to sluggish performance and reach for the one that won't slow you down.
That's crisp.
Experience the force of clean, pure oil coursing through your engine. No matter what you drive, Wix Filters is the clear choice. Here's to filtration that works as hard as you do. Wix Premium Filters. Performance starts here.
Valvoline Restore and Protect. A first-of-its-kind innovation that returns pistons to factory clean by removing up to 100% of deposits. Restore your engine to perform like new. Restore and Protect. Another first from Valvoline.
The Fun 99 menu, always $1.99 each.
And now your action weather broadcast. We've got shifting weather conditions on the horizon. Expect high winds, scattered thunderstorms, cold fronts, and dense fog. It's a wild one out there.
Toyota trucks. Let's go places. Oh, Kansas.
Here we go. Make it happen today.
You just don't stop giving, do you?
Green flag, we're underway.
The closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history.
What a finish, boys.
Close to downtown, amazing campgrounds.
Momentum on the outside.
4 NASCAR races in one weekend, and it's the playoffs.
You guys can't drive.
Now you're just showing off. But we're not mad. In fact, we're looking forward to it. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Just a couple weeks away, Friday, September 20th, the NASCAR Xfinity Series comes to the CW. It all begins in Bristol when racing legend Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to join the field against the series' top drivers in the final race of the regular season's NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Bristol. Again, that's Friday, September 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on the CW.
Junior had enough speed to win that race last year.
Sure did.
Seen a lot of miscellaneous passes, kind of one at a time inside the top 10, and a lot of conversation on the radios about water temperature. Warm day here in Atlanta, and I can't tell if people are trying to pull out a line just to cool their cars or if they are trying to make moves. You can definitely pull to the bottom in the corner and get a run. The question is, what are you going to go with it? If you can't get back in line, sometimes it could be a net loss.
You got to have a gap to try to fill.
Now, if you're awesome.
That car in the back of this picture, that 98 car, Riley Herbst, his car, he just passed 6 or 7 cars within the last 4 or 5 laps. Was able to just be in the throttle, just drove by him. His teammate Cole Custer pushed him down the back straightaway and gave him a lot of help, but his car is not driving well.
It's like a checkbox where it's a drafting track, but you have to drive well enough to draft. And if you don't drive very well, if your car isn't handling well, you can't take advantage of the draft because you got to kind of get out of line to get the downforce.
Speaking of out of line, Austin Hill up the racetrack, and so that has allowed the 2 of Jesse Love to get to his inside. Will that be bad for Jesse Love as we're coming up on 3 laps to go? These top 4 cars all already have won and are locked into the playoffs. How aggressive do they get for that 1 playoff point to win the stage?
So Riley Herbst's going to get behind the 21 and try to push him past the 2 car.
Look how good the 7's driving, though. He's easy keeping 1 or 2 car lengths back to second. Now this should be a run for the 21. Can he do something when he gets to the corner with it?
The 2 pulls the 98 off the 21, so that takes that momentum away with those 2 cars. To the bottom of the racetrack, a little squirrely there for the 2 of Jesse Love.
Man, that 98 got right on his right rear quarter panels, like it pulled the side force away. Great save by the driver of the 2.
Less than 2 laps to go in stage 1.
I think Riley Herbst has the speed to try to make the move.
Can he get some help from Jesse Love?
I just think the 7's too fast. I mean, I think the 7 can run the bottom, that wide open throttle, and remove the opportunity for anyone behind him to get an offensive run.
See, the thing is, if you're Riley Herbst right now he's being challenged. So that's going to take the energy away from that lane. Who is going to push who down the back straightaway?
Wow, just like that, the 21, I thought the 7 couldn't be touched. 21 door to door.
He's going to try to side draft him and pull him back into 3 and 4 for the final time of stage 1, and surging on the outside is that 7 of Allgaier. They're side by side as they come out of 4. A little contact made, and really almost a photo finish. Justin Allgaier grabs the stage 1 win, and Allgaier grabs his 14th stage win. That's the most ever.
Yeah, thank you to the 98 right there. Gave me a little bit of a boost across the line.
It's interesting because at a .01 gap, I'm sure NASCAR will double check the camera. That's almost within the margin of the transponder.
Yeah, and right there, that move, you know, Austin Hill just drove underneath the 7. I think that Allgaier got lucky to win this stage. I think on the last lap, you got to go to the bottom of the racetrack. You got to make him pass you on the outside. It did confirm that the 7 won, and the reason the 7 won is because of this push right here by Riley Herbst.
Just that close, and remember, this is just stage 1. We still have 2 stages to go here in Atlanta. Make sure to join NASCAR's free rewards program and start earning points that turn into member-only rewards. You can earn every time that you check in for a race. You trade points in for free tickets, as well as one-of-a-kind race day experiences. Visit NASCAR.com/fan rewards. You're watching the Focused Health 250 here here on USA. And winner of stage 1 is Allgaier. Mentioned 14 stage wins. That is the most stage wins ever in a season. And Allgaier still has 9 races to go and a couple more stages even in this race.
Well, we talk about during qualifying and, what's the strategy? Well, the strategy is doing this right here, just leading laps. There's not a lot of strategic calls from on top of the pit box in the Xfinity Series with the limited tire count. You kind of pit at the end of each stage. So he's just good enough in each stage to lead a lot of laps.
Let's head down to the Peacock pit box and check in with DJ and KP. All right, guys, we knew it was going to be exciting, and the end of stage 1 is separated by 100th of a second.
Yeah, it's crazy. They talked about it in pre-race. We heard Marty bring it up. Can you have a plan? They had a plan. Austin Hill and Jesse Love ran together the whole time. And where's the 98 come from? Where does Herbst come from to help Allgaier win the race?
Yeah, remember that he won at Indianapolis with this very package that they are running here today. Riley Herbst did. So he's got a fast race car. I know there's a race going on here, and we're going to cover this. But, guys, did you see, as these drivers started complaining about the handling of their cars in the motorhome lot, all the drivers went out from the Cup Series trying to find their crew chiefs to say, what the heck are we going to do tomorrow?
There was a mass exodus of buses over there as we're seeing the field make their way onto pit road now. Pit road's open.
Pretty interesting pit road here. You enter actually in turn 3, come all the way around on the apron. The reason they do that is because if you have to pit on the green, the track is not wide enough to have green flag pit stops and not having to slow down in the middle of the corner and causing a wreck.
And let's check in with Dave.
It's now 24 playoff points for Justin Allgaier. Those are the ones that go through the first couple of rounds with a playoff driver. You got 2 right side Goodyear tires, 2 cans of fuel, and then they're going to take all 3 rows of tape off that front of that Camaro to cool the car down, Kim.
Riley Herbst in the middle said it's a little loose, but wow, it is fun. I just need a little more right rear grip. As you see Austin Hill on the bottom, he said he was out of control getting into 3, had to completely bail out, just way too edgy. Can't make quick reactions like he wants and keep the car underneath him, as both of those cars getting 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Quoting Sheldon Creed here, Cam, he said it's super sketchy, dirty in dirty air. It's bad, bad, bad. I have no trust in the rear tires. And then Sam McCauley, his crew chief, said, do you want 2 tires? He said, absolutely not. No way. I need 4 tires here for the end of that run.
A fast 40 laps. Allgaier holds his position, but surprisingly, the 21 of Austin Hill drops a couple spots. That crew normally very strong on pit road. We expected it to be nose to tail and very tight, but 100th of a second separating the top 2 at the end of stage 1. NBC Sports coverage of NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Looking at downtown Atlanta. Bustling area there. We're just a bit south of that here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as we're getting ready for the start of stage 2. As you see Allgaier trying to pass the pace car here. You can't do that. Dave.
Rick, let's hear what they were talking about under caution.
It also keeps you some clean air, give it cooled back down. We got 3 rows of tape off of it, so it should be back to where we need to be. Sorry we missed that.
All is good, my friend.
I think you stay aggressive, buddy. We got stage 1. Let's go get stage 2.
Copy that.
Crew Chief Jim Pullman encouraging his driver, Justin Allgaier, go get stage 2. Do you guys like that aggressive strategy for the 7?
Well, they only took 2 tires under the caution, not 4. So that was an aggressive side. We'll see how it works because Allmendinger, Sammy Smith, a couple cars stayed out on older tires. And much like earlier, Jeff, they all chose the top, right? So that gave Allgaier the ability to pull all the way to the inside row 1, even though I think he was basically the 3rd car in line.
Allmendinger, Allgaier. They're up there on that front row. Allmendinger in the 16 on the high side, and the Campers Inn RV, and Allgaier in that Mayo Missile. The green flag comes back out, and a little bit of help for Allgaier from the 9 of Brandon Jones. We'll see if that'll push him out in front of the 16.
Yeah, Sammy Smith in that 8's also pushing that outside lane. And that outside lane we've seen as the better lane later in the runs. Cole Custer now making it 3 wide is going to take a lot of energy out of the inside.
Sheldon Creed in the 18 trying to get to that back bumper of the 00, but now 3 cars pulling away. As you mentioned, Sammy Smith in the 8 trying to get back to the back bumper of the 16, can't do it, and now the 7 will fall back and will be fighting for 3rd with Cole Custer.
And the 9, the bright yellow car in the middle lane. He had a teammate right behind him, and the teammate didn't go with him. And when that happened, now he's by himself in the middle, and they are flying by him.
We're riding along with the 19 of Taylor Gray, that Toyota onboard. We saw the run that he had trying to get to the back bumper of Jesse Love in the 2.
Allgaier is full desperation mode right now. Stuck on that bottom lane with nowhere to go, no help. And I got to tell you, Steve, he put on 2 tires, and now he's going to be back in the pack. As this run goes on, if handling matters, he is not going to have a good driving car back here.
Yeah, 2 tires was definitely a call to keep track position, but they also had to remove some of that tape, and you wonder if it took some speed out of the 7, because earlier he was able to kind of be on the attack mode at the bottom. Now losing ground to the outside lane is Custer with a really tight squeeze.
He just decided he was going to move in there. It didn't matter that the 98 of Riley Herbst was trying to close that gap.
But that's what the 7 of our guy needed. It slowed the momentum down on that outside lane. It allowed him to go to the bottom, gain some of that momentum back. Now he's trying to find a gap. If he could get in front of this 1 car.
The 20 slides up the hill. He's out of line 3 wide. Truex will sneak his way back in.
Top 6 cars all in line. There's that 00 sliding, and maybe a little contact there with Sammy Smith. 20 of Ryan Truex tagging the wall there.
Loose. All by himself, got in the corner, and just car does not have the grip he wants.
And with that, Allgaier kind of got back in line at the end of the line. Now running in the 8th position, single file.
So now I think he can go along here for a little bit and start trying to find those gaps and try to turn underneath. But when you start on the bottom, everybody's wide open in the gas, you don't have any help, then there's really nothing you can do. But let's see what he does at the back of this pack.
Allmendinger out there on 30-lap old tires, as well as Sammy Smith. I think that's fine when you're at the front of the pack. We'll see if they start to age. Still 27 to go in this stage.
And that's why Allmendinger was up front. We saw the 7 come to pit road, and so it was Allmendinger who got to choose that outside line. He's got Sammy Smith behind him. They're on the same strategy. Both came to pit road on lap 14.
And they have to be a little careful, because behind them is the 00 and the 98. Why does that matter? Well, they're 2 Fords and 2 Stewart-Haas Racing Fords. So I would imagine if they can get it timed right and the 00 turns down the hill, the 98 would follow.
Teammates potentially working together. Marty, what about the 16 of Allmendinger?
Well, remember how their day started, Rick. They had the power steering issues, so they had to go to the back of the field and try and work their way through, which A.J. Allmendinger described as, quote, miserable doing that. So Alan Schaas told me, hey, that's our only move, to not pit there. They took the caution in stage 1, did not pit at the end of stage 1, so they're going to stay out here until the end of stage 2. Dave, the question is, can they hang on to this lead for this entire stage?
Marty, Cole Custer runs 3rd in the black and white 00 car. At the end of that run, his car was extremely loose. He wanted to check for that. Remember talking to him before the race, he was very positive about the speed in this 00, just needed a little bit better handling, and now we'll see if he can make that move to the very front that you guys have been talking about.
As we see Allgaier rolling underneath the bottom, you want to know how he could do it, Jeff. Well, he's made up a few positions. Here's the challenge. I know handling matters, but it doesn't matter enough to go to the back of the pack. So from what I see is there are good and there are bad driving race cars, but no one really can just drive from the back to the front. You still have to worry about track position.
Yeah, he gained 2 spots and then lost them back, and now he might lose this spot to Creed.
This will help him, though, as Hill goes too wide in front of him.
So Allgaier continuing to peek to the inside. Whoa. Dave all the way up against the wall almost there, the 7, and on his outside was Sheldon Creed.
And he's talking about the balance, Rick.
These guys' balances are freaking terrible, man.
You got the best car. Just do your thing here.
Copy.
I think he might have been talking about the other guy's balance, actually, the 7 driver.
Yeah, and we saw the 97 of SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, get all the way up there and then drop all the way back again.
Yeah, what started that, though, is the 18 of Sheldon Creed. Watch this right here. He comes off turn 2, and he is all the way out of the gas, sideways. Allgaier basically made it too wide to miss the wreck. I mean, that's what that was. That's why we were talking about it. I saw it happening, and I thought they were getting ready to wreck.
But they were. Then they untangled themselves.
Yes, thank goodness. But now as the handling's starting to go away, Steve, now you're starting to see gaps between cars, right? And now is a time, if the 7 car drives well, he can take get forward momentum down the straightaway, turn left in the corner, move up and fill that gap.
Top 5 cars right there on screen as Allmendinger leading this group.
The visuals are shocking here because down the straightaways, the speed doesn't really shock me, right? It looks like Atlanta that I've been coming to for 30 years. Perhaps I might even say a little slower than Atlanta at the end of the straightaway. Then they get to the corner and they don't slow down. And that's when it just doesn't look right. Looking out the window, when they turn down into turn 3 and run the middle of the racetrack, single file, they look like they pick up speed.
Reminds me of a cup race in the late 90s at Daytona, you know, in the summer race where you had to lift. Handling really mattered. We just saw Allgaier at the back of the line. He just hung a right on Jesse Love, went right around him. He's able to stay in the gas longer than everybody else.
And this one's going quick. Only 19 laps remaining in stage 2.
A.J. Allmendinger. Campers in, RV car. Loves the spot he's in, but this 7 car, can he clear both of them? He does. Oh, no, I thought he had him cleared. He didn't.
Wasn't able to slide up in front of Riley Herbst, and so he'll fall back once again. But he keeps making the run, trying that inside line.
That's on 2 tires also. That's really impressive.
The momentum now behind the 98. We'll see if he checks up and goes to the inside. Allmendinger out in front. He's already led 19 laps here in Atlanta.
It's good to get some fresh air.
Fresh air?
Hi, guys. Bill, you look great. Now that I have Inspire, I'm free from struggling with the mask and the hose. Inspire? Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside my body with a click of this button.
No mask. No hose.
Just sleep.
Give me this thing. Where are you going? I'm going to get Inspire.
Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Learn more and view important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Negra, I want to be an actor.
So why don't you act like a good sister and get me some more of those baby back ribs?
I want to be a director now. Let's try a scene where you go get your own. And action.
And cut.
A lot of drama on this set.
Action.
And cut.
Maybe I'll just go get wings for everybody.
BK Royal Crispy Wraps. Eat it with the meal or have it as a snack. Only $2.99. It's a hunger hack and it fits in one hand. At BK, have it your way.
This is the make or break moment.
Oh my goodness!
Not just for the day, but for the years to come. This is where a race isn't just about the race. It's about the doors it can open.
That kid is amazing.
The number of fans wearing your number. This is the chance to carve your name into the history books. This is the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Ever wonder what you'd do if you found yourself in a horror movie?
Hello?
A reboot by Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw Productions.
This is my first human. I am so excited.
Of a prank show.
See American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I just pranked the New Day.
So scary. It's funny.
Oh my God! It's a finger. I'm out of this. Wait. No, bye, girl.
Scare Tactics. Series premiere Friday, October 4th on USA.
Grab your phone, scan that QR code, and that will allow you to sign up for the NASCAR newsletter to stay up to speed on all the latest from the track and get your chance to win 2 tickets to a 2025 race of your choice. You can also go to NASCAR.com/race ticket promo to enter, as we see the 7 still continuing to fight for positions, although now with the 19, that fight was for the 6th spot. Taylor Gray with Toyota on board, looking ahead at that Hellman's number 7.
His teammate Sam Mayer ran the bottom and gave him some forward momentum and let him clear Taylor, but that is not going to work out well for Mayer.
With under 12 laps to go, Austin Hill currently running in the 9th spot. Remember, Hill was 2nd in stage 1, was battling for that stage 1 win. And now Austin Hill looks like he's kind of stuck back in 9th, Kim.
Yeah, and he has not led a lap today compared to the 5 previous Atlanta races where he led a lap in each of those races. So what's wrong? Take a listen to the radio.
Starting to maintain, but it's still just, if I go to make a move, it's really out of control, like really bad.
That car just way too loose for Austin to do anything he wants to, and Marty, his team telling him they'll give him an adjustment so he has something for the 7 in that final stage.
Out of control is the phrase for Austin Hill. For Sheldon Creed, it's sketchy. Here, listen to this radio.
It's super sketchy, like that 30 years. The biggest problem is I just keep right behind him in the corner, like I have to get air on the nose. Yep, copy.
So by my unofficial tally, Rick, that's like the 11th use of the word sketchy from Sheldon Creed today. But, Jeff, I tell you what, these drivers absolutely at the end of these runs have their hands full.
Yeah, they really do. You can see whose cars handle well and whose don't. You know, the aggressiveness that you see from Sam Mayer, that you saw from Allgaier, that means they trust their race cars. And, you know, Hill was complaining about he just did not have enough grip. And if you can't be aggressive and just when you see something immediately make a move, then you are really, it's a big disadvantage. And you can see how handcuffed they are, just not being able to be aggressive. Look at the 21 right here. He got great forward momentum, but he's going to be able to clear in the corner. That was an easy move, but that move came because the 18 is driving so poorly.
And SVG tried to do the same move, wasn't able to completely clear Creed. And so now he's going to drop back behind the 1 and see if he can get the momentum back up. We'll see if Parker Kligerman gives him a little shove here. He stays behind him as Chandler Smith in the 81 works to the inside.
That's where it's different than Daytona and Talladega. Daytona and Talladega, Parker could have drove right in there and shoved that car forward. But in the middle of the corner here at Atlanta, especially on these older tires, you just can't get in there and really push, which is making this run by Allmendinger and Sammy Smith even more impressive. 50 laps on the tires for the 1st and 2nd place car. I actually think the 00 and the 98 are patiently biding their time with 7 to go. They have fresher tires. Can they use them in the closing laps of this stage?
And I think A.J. Allmendinger took it personally when Marty reported earlier that he didn't have any playoff points. A.J. Allmendinger out in front, and if he could win the stage, it would be his first playoff point of 2024 as they come up on 6 laps remaining in stage 2. Allmendinger, Smith, Custer, top 3.
I was going to say, if he could pull this off, it'll even be more impressive.
Sheldon Creed, we've seen him with some handling issues, and there he tags the wall just a bit. Now Chandler Smith's going to try to clear him, but not enough, and the 18 once again right up against the wall.
Looking for the cushion. He's up there just trying to find something to grab him.
Ryan Sieg, remember he was 2 laps down because of the electrical issue. Still 2 laps down. He's running 34th, 2 laps down, but we see that 39 up there.
So the 3 leaders, they drove away from the next group. Then all of a sudden, they started getting caught again. The 2 car is out of control loose. But still, I think there's enough time. If the 7 can get by the 2, and the 2 is sideways, he's going to be able to jump to the outside of him. I don't think Jesse Love wants any part of this. He just wants to finish this stage at this point. But I think this 7 might have even though he's way behind, might have a shot here.
I think so. I think he's going to get just a big, big run on these front 4. The question is, when he gets there with 3 to go, can he do anything with it? A little bit staggered in front of him is really going to help him. You see, it's like turbo. The 7 just accelerates. That big pocket of air between the double file in front.
Easily got to the 98. Now we'll see if he moves to the inside through 1 and 2. Smoke coming out of the 1 of Sam Mayer. There has been some contact with the wall as the back bumper is completely off and now bursts into flames. Caution is out.
Yellow's out.
This fire right here, you have to wonder, see some damage on the front as well. Is there more to this story? Was it an engine that expired, which made him get into the wall? Did he get into his own oil? It's rare that you see that much fire just from hitting the fence on the right side, or did it pull an oil line or something off, some sort of accelerant? Sam quickly gets out of the car.
Not wasting any time.
It almost looks like the automatic fire system
Sorry guys, trying
was
to be
activated.
aggressive. Either it wasn't good or 17 was being more, or 19 was being more aggressive, but call that on me. Sorry.
So good to see the AMR safety crew there to assist Mayer. That was the reason.
Yeah, I wondered if it was an engine. I just think it had to be some sort of oil or something after contact, because that's just a wreck on the racetrack.
Yeah, just not clear.
Got
into
the
Kevin
wall.
Hamlin, we heard on the radio, saying that one's on me. So we didn't get to hear the radio, but from that, it sounds like Kevin Hamlin is saying that one's on me. So he must have been telling Sam there was room up. There was absolutely not space for a car. The 19 of Gray was in the gas and not letting him up.
You know, watch this as it carries on. The fire came into the cockpit for just a moment, and there's temperature sensors that actually, once it gets to a certain temperature, it activates the fire extinguisher. And I think that's what that is right there, Steve, in the trunk. It's putting it out. But that's just, again, we've heard spotters take the blame for calling someone clear, and they're not clear. But there's only one driver. The driver's got to make this call, and that's just how it is. Kevin Ham is one of the best spotters in the business, but only one guy's going to the infield care center, and that's the driver. Driver's got to be responsible for it. And again, I think just this right here, you see the fire extinguishes, but you see it in the car there for just a moment.
Yeah, obviously, I mentioned an accelerant. You know, when the right front hits, something happens, right? An oil line or some sort of fluid has to be leaking, and then the fire gets put out. Pretty scary moment right there when you see that fireball.
Makes you wonder, it's like a rear end line or something.
Yeah, exactly. Something has come off. There's some sort of lubricant that's caught on fire. And then you mentioned the temperature sensor, much like think about a sprinkler system in commercial building. It's the same idea concept wise, right? It tells that there's a fire and it puts the extinguisher system out there, and right there, fire goes out.
I know it's bad for Sam Mayer, but good for fans. You could see the fire rolling back toward the car. So we always talk about the air and how you can't actually see the air, but the fire showed us how the air rolls over these cars and can roll back and give them downforce on these cars. But yeah, the AMR safety crew got immediately to Sam Mayer, and they'll take him to the infield care center. But obviously the flames erupting underneath the 1 with that caution means the end of stage 2. And so congratulations, AJ Allmendinger. Here is playoff point number 1 of the 2024 season, as he will win stage 2.
And equally as important is Sammy Smith in that battle to try to make that last spot. Going to finish second, get 8 points right here.
Allmendinger, Smith, Custer, Herbst, Allgaier, Love, Gray, Smith, SVG, and Hill all gaining points in the end of that stage. And it ended a little earlier. And the day ended earlier for Sam Mayer in flames. Just crossing the halfway point of this race. It is the Focused Health 250 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Allgaier won stage 1. Allmendinger wins stage 2. And now 82 laps remain. And Steve, you're saying that's outside the fuel window, but these guys potentially will try to push it?
Yeah, they're going to bring it inside the fuel window because they're not going to pit here. They'll pit the next time around, so 81 to go. We think they can go 75 to 80 laps. They'll save all they can before the green and then probably ride around a little part throttle if you know, you can kind of get single file, although Jeff, from the radios we've been hearing, I think they're out of the gas a little bit anyway because of handling. So that will also increase your fuel mileage. In the spring, there was no consideration about coming to pit road. And after seeing Allmendinger and Sammy Smith lead that entire stage on old tires, the strategy is to get track position.
Well, the other thing that's happened is with all of this cleanup, they've kept pit road closed. So that's going to extend the opportunity to put fuel in the car, have less laps. It's safer rather than sending everybody off pit road into the safety vehicles. They just haven't opened it.
Points as they run on the left side of your screen there. Again, those in yellow have won. The gap between Sammy Smith and Ryan Sieg is huge compared to the way we started. It was 10 points that separated those two, and now you're seeing it 50 points. Hey, there's the guy who's going to race at Bristol in a little bit.
Well, Ryan Sieg had that electrical issue, went 2 laps down. He just still has a perfectly healthy race car running 33rd.
And the problem is he's not the highest scored lap down car because Matt DiBenedetto was a lap down. So that did not put Sieg back in the position to get the free pass.
Although if it's anything like the spring, there's a lot of fireworks yet to happen.
Just watch this.
Yeah, that's right. Hold my beverage.
So
watch what's getting ready to happen.
Here's the entrance on turn 3. It's very unique.
The commitment box, that orange box that they came in. And so now this group on pit road getting ready for service. And again, they're going to want to get these things as full as possible. Allmendinger has been out there since lap 14, coming up on completing the 83rd lap of this race. Riding along with Jeb Burton and that state water heaters on board.
That entire area is all pit road speed.
45 miles per hour, and now they're heading into their pit stalls. Dave.
Sammy Smith said he was sketchy and losing grip, but when the 00 was behind him, his car got a little bit free. He's to start the next run saving. He'll get 4 tires and fuel, as will Cole Custer. 4 Goodyear tires for him. His car was still too free at the end of the run, Marty.
A.J. Allmendinger joked with us, guys, congrats, we finally won something this year. First playoff point of the season with 3 races left in the regular season. He said, hey, our handling was really good. I needed to turn just a little bit longer for A.J. Allmendinger. And yes, checking in with Alex Jans, this should be their last pit stop of the day.
2 tires for Taylor Gray and Sheldon Creed, gaining them a lot of spots on pit road. Allmendinger drops a couple, and Herbst hold on to his position. Again, a late into the wall incident, and the flames rolling from underneath the one of Sam Mayer. CW is taking over the broadcasting of the Xfinity Series in 2025, but it kicks off in just 2 weeks. That's Friday, September 20th. They will have the final race of the regular season. And in that race, Hall of Famer Dale Earnhardt Jr. would be a part of that field. Again, that's Bristol, Friday, September 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on CW. They had an activation outside of the track earlier. You saw the CW car. Sheldon Creed and the fans being able to take advantage of getting pictures and getting a good look. That's what's happening with CW and that car. And speaking of, a little issue on pit road just moments ago, Steve.
Yeah, 2-tire change, and then I'm not sure what happens, whether it's a miscommunication, but a tire's left in front of the car. Creed leaves and rolls the tire away. So that's a penalty, and then he comes in to put left sides on later. And then right here, The 21 runs in the back of the 97. Looked like SVG was kind of checking up, trying to find his pit box.
20 pits outside the box. You see the nose just over the line.
Yeah, so that'll be tail end for the 20.
And so some issues on pit road will have people starting in different positions, at least restarting. And up at the front of pit road, you see the Peacock pit box, and DJ and KP. You guys ready for these final 78 laps?
Oh, we're ready right here. We've got a great viewing spot as all of this action is getting ready to take place. Kyle, I think the one thing that I look at, Justin Allgaier, obviously the best car here, but if you have some handling issues, I'm not sure what you can do, because I think a lot of it comes from the cars being trimmed out. So any adjustment you make might just be a small Band-Aid.
Yeah, it's a Band-Aid. We can't fix anything. We've got to hang on right now. And that's what's making this exciting. You see Allgaier, he seems to be able to do it on 4 tires, 2 tires, maybe no tires. I don't know. I mean, that's how good his car looks right now. But we saw Jesse Love pull over and give up the position. That's how bad these things are handling. That's when racing was fun to watch, but not fun to drive.
Yeah, you got that exactly right. Ryan Sieg now back with just 1 lap down there. If he can get a quick caution here that he's not a part of, he's got a fast race car, could get back in this thing, guys.
And so after the choose, we see the 16 be on the inside, and that 19 of Taylor Gray will be on the outside for the start or restart, as we see Brandon Jones. A lot of damage to the inside of that number 9.
Yeah, you can see on this choose, the outside lane is by far the most preferred. It does create some opportunities, though. The 00 was in 6th. He's driven up to essentially 3rd. The 27, he was in 10th. Now he's driven up to essentially 5th.
Let's listen into the 18 radio.
Get the fire out of the way. What the hell is that?
That's what, 3 in a row. We've thrown away now on pit road.
We're just at halfway. It's going to be fine, but we've got to get our cleaned up, obviously.
Well, there's the frustration of Sheldon Creed. He knows that he's been close so many times, and then to have another incident put him in a precarious position.
Well, yeah, because his car hasn't been driving great as it was, and now basically last on the field is not going to make it drive any better.
Taylor Gray starting in the front of this pack. He's had his hands full with his race car as well. 2 tires.
Let's take a look at how the handling goes now as he's out in front of the field, and the final stage is underway. That inside line trying to do something here. 2 cars against the field is very difficult. Allmendinger gets to the door of the 19. But that's as far as it goes, and now he starts to fall back. Taylor Gray in the 19. Want to reiterate, the 20 and the 19 more or less switched crews. And so now Tyler Allen, who is the crew chief for the 20 all season and has 7 wins already, he's crew chiefing the 19. So Taylor Gray has to feel pretty good right now out in front of this field, and having all of that knowledge on the pit box helping him hopefully negotiate potentially to a victory.
You can hear right now everybody's running wide open because they have new tires, a lot of grip, Kim, but that's going to go away as these tires start to wear out.
Yeah, Jeff, and Rick mentioned Tyler Allen being the crew chief for Taylor Gray. This is the second time, actually, of them working together. When they first did that kind of crew chief team switch, that was Pocono. Taylor was in the car for that race, and Tyler told me that he learned so much about Taylor's feedback, his scale for changes. That was a big growing race for them, so they were very confident coming into this weekend. And remember, Tyler Allen has won multiple races on the 20 car, most recently at a another super speedway Daytona with Ryan Truex in the seat, so this team has a lot going for them. But I was surprised at that two-tire call, a strategy gamble there for a car that had been sketchy earlier in this race.
Chandler Smith in the 81, that green 81, starting to fall back once again on that inside line.
But in the corner, they're able to make up a lot of ground. Big push right here coming from behind. Jesse Love. Behind him, Austin Hill.
And Ryan Sieg just behind them. And again, Sieg just one lap back as he was able to receive a free pass.
A little bit of positioning and posturing here. Try to save a little gas if you're in the upper lane. If you're in the bottom lane, try to find a hole and get in line before it kind of gets too stretched out. 81, 21, 39 around the bottom. 5 of Alfredo. Sorry, Jeff was kind of recovering as well.
It's been impressive, this bottom lane, led by Chandler Smith. We've seen Chandler with his hands full today, too, with a bad driving car. But right now, they're making this bottom work.
Look at just how much they gain around the shorter distance. And then up, side draft down the back stretch.
They get backed up.
The side draft down the back stretch is relatively straightforward. The front stretch is a little bit more dangerous because just the natural arc of the D, you kind of know where that guy is, but down the back it's very clear. I think within a foot you know where that car is next to the outside wall.
Look at this run by Chandler Smith. Was able to pull right up to the door of Taylor Gray, and now he's got the help of the 21. A little bit loose there.
Almost clear, didn't quite get it done. Behind this 21 of Austin Hill is the one-lap car down to Ryan Sieg. That car is flying. If he could get back in the lead lap, with the way this race is played out, I think he could get himself to the front, have a chance to win this race. Got to first get in the lead lap.
Chandler Smith out in front at Atlanta. Was able to clear the 19 of Taylor Gray. This Taylor's just his 10th start in the Xfinity Series this year. He's currently 5th in the playoff standings in the trucks. And standing by with Sam Mayer is Kim.
Rick, victim of an interesting incident where his car caught fire after contact. It sounded like, though, your spotter, Kevin Hamlin, took a little bit of responsibility on the radio. From your seat, what can you tell us what happened?
No, that's just racing right there. I mean, we saw that a couple weeks ago with other guys, so it's just part of it. I mean, the way the style of racing is you got to make those quick clears and those quick moves. So I got to tell you, this was probably the most fun I've ever had at this racetrack. Making moves like that, going to the bottom, doing quick clears up top. It was a blast. I was having a lot of fun as a race car driver. Too bad it got cut short. Our High Rock Vodka Chevrolet was certainly as fast as Xfinity 10G. I'm really proud of these guys. They did a really good job putting a car out there that was really fast, and definitely the best car I've ever had here. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this the rest of the year, and keep on digging.
Up into the wall, and when we get a caution, it's SVG. Sure enough, the caution comes out. He's going to make the hard left-hand turn to get onto pit road.
And that's going to put Ryan Sieg back in the lead lap. And I am telling you, he has the fastest race car right now.
And all the fuel conversation about saving under green just got easier. All these cars right now, you see coasting, they're shut off, rolling down the backstretch. So this caution should get them where they need. Let's see what happens to the 97.
Tries to make a move to the outside of Sammy Smith and just lost control of his car.
Yeah, I like what he was thinking. We've seen the 7 do that move. You get to the outside of the 8, and then you have position on quarter exit, but either a little bit of dust up there or just loose in general. Yeah, I mean, I like what he was. That, to me, is SVG learning, watching the 7, watching some other guys, and then he put his car in that position. Now he made a little mistake or the car couldn't handle it, but that will go into the notebook. Unfortunately for this situation, pretty heavy damage.
And SVG had been mixing it up toward the front and learning a lot before this incident came out. So he was already on pit road. I'm sure he'll be making another trip down to have that car looked at. And the 39 of Ryan Sieg back on the lead lap. Steve, you mentioned earlier with this caution coming out, there shouldn't be an issue with fuel, but I'm seeing right now the group on pit road led by the 21 of Austin Hill that might be an issue for them.
They're making sure they have enough for overtime, maybe making some adjustments. We'll see if they think tires are necessary or just fuel. Dave.
For the 7 of Allgaier, it is adjustments, and it's still that overheating of the water. He says the pressure in the water and the oil are good, but it's still overheating the water. Doesn't quite understand it, so he'll get 4 tires here. Best he can be on new, fresh Goodyears. Also, his teammate Sammy Smith in the 8, he'll get 2 right sides only, and he'll be leaving, Kim.
Austin Hill saying he's decent on the bottom, but extremely loose on the top. Didn't take tires, looked like a gas and go. Slight adjustment there for Austin Hill.
Slight adjustment, top it off with fuel, and under 62 laps remaining in this race from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Remember the spring, you know, everybody was on fumes for those overtime finishes, so the cars that didn't have the great track position adding a little fuel.
So much success for Austin Hill at this racetrack. 3 of the 5 races since the reconfiguration. He knows about winning. So do the teams here in Atlanta. So much history of great success from all the sports teams from right here in Atlanta.
Good afternoon, Atlanta. Let's go do it today. Quarter mile, a lot of crazy things going to happen here. Stay sharp, stay disciplined. See where the weak ones are and try and snuff out our weaknesses early. Green flag, be on your toes. 3 wide, 4 rows in front here. Watch that 14 span intact, check. Low, down. Nice job, bud. 3 coming checkers. Says 99. Yeah, guys, yeah. Woo! Closest in history.
Thousandths of a second separating that race where Daniel Suarez won earlier this year, and tomorrow they'll be back at it right here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Countdown to green starts at 2:30, and then remember, live coverage of every green flag lap tomorrow of the first race of the playoffs. Again, that starts at 3 o'clock, and then the post-race show at 6:30, all on USA. Front row's been looking pretty good as far as qualifying as well. We saw Michael McDowell once again. Very impressive in that qualifying run.
It was an impressive day for front row for sure. Another pole position. We talk a lot about the big gap in points, but Ryan Sieg, who was able to get back on the lead lap, now is in the 30th position, and Sammy Smith, who's under penalty, he had a safety violation, so he's all the way back there as well. They're basically running next to each other, so what looked like a 50-something point lead is now down to 18 and very close to one another on the racetrack.
And remember, Sammy Smith got 9 points as far as stage points for where he was finishing in stage 1 and stage 2, so that's what's increased that gap between those two from the start of the race. Getting ready for the restart here with 59 laps to go in Atlanta.
Very deep in the field, the 7 car put on 4 tires. He has a ton of work to do to get back to the front.
Top 4 cars trying to pull away as they work together. And a big push from Riley Herbst. Got Cole Custer out there, but now he's going to start to fall back with no help whatsoever. Chandler Smith has the lead. Taylor, there's that 7 you talked about on the high side, taking advantage of that fresh Goodyear rubber.
39 of Sieg going with him.
And we know the 39 has been fast. We also saw the 7 earlier, very quick as he won stage 1. But the battle continues up front here. Custer looking for some help from behind as he slides back up to that door of the 81 of Chandler Smith. Had an issue on pit road, and he continues to have issues now into the wall just a bit.
Just kind of follow the leader. There was 2 or 3 of them that got up into the dust.
And with 2 races remaining after this race for the regular season, Sammy Smith's trying to find every point he can get.
And I'm going to tell you, Jeff, there are going to be drivers that get out after this race and talk about track position, how you couldn't pass, and the package didn't allow them to get where they needed to be, and they need to go back and watch the 7 cars race, because he started all the way at the back and he's up to 15th, and he is making moves. He is the aggressor and making them work at times.
Yeah, and that 5 car, Anthony Alfredo, remember, he was in the wall early in the race, got a lap down, having to make repairs. Now he is back in the fight.
Cole Custer clears the 81 easily, now by 3 car lengths, as he is leading here in Atlanta. Look back from Jeb Burton.
Yeah, the 39 car drove up to his rear bumper. I don't think he ever touched him, just pulled the air off of him.
And now a little side-by-side action for 3rd, as we still see the 7 moving up. Caution has come out.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
Spin in 3 and 4.
I think now we know why the 27 was so loose.
Jeb Burton spins in 3 and 4 and brings caution out for the 5th time today. He was running 18th.
Tired. He had a tire problem.
Left side's only.
Left rear tire.
So to pit road. And all right, Steve, now with 54 to go, do you see anybody coming back to pit road after seeing what Allgaier's been able to do?
I don't think so. I think that's something special for Allgaier. I think if you stayed out the first time, you have to stay out again. The top 8 are all guys that stayed on the racetrack. There may be a miscellaneous 1 or 2 that decides to come to pit road, but I think the leaders are going to keep their track position. They made that decision last time.
Farthest up that came to pit road is Austin Hill. He's running 9th. Allgaier has made his way back up to 11th. This is Jeff Burton looking back at him as he spun coming off of turn 3 and onto the apron, bringing the caution out. We'll have a restart when we return to Atlanta. Last year's champion out in front here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Again, Cole Custer will be heading to the Cup Series in 2025. Driving for the Haas factory team, newly formed, but 10 years of experience after Stewart Haas Racing will close their doors at the end of the season. And just a few are on pit road now. Let's listen into Cole Custer's radio.
So does this caution get us to A+ or no?
Yes, sir. According to what we're looking at here, we feel pretty halfway confident that we're at A+ now.
10-4.
Which part are you going to laugh at, Rick? The A+ or the halfway confident?
I think the halfway confident is one of the best comments.
So listen,
today.
A crew chief who's pretty halfway confident means that that's like 65, 70%. I'm not willing to completely commit to it. And really what Custer's talking about is you mentioned it. They pitted at lap 83, so they couldn't quite make it to the finish. But now we've had so many yellows. This is the 14th lap of yellow that Cole Custer's kind of gone around saving gas. So now they could definitely make it to the end. And I'm guessing A+ probably means overtimes as well. And he's halfway pretty confident. So if he's halfway pretty confident, then I'm for sure halfway pretty confident as well.
That sounded like an agreement that you better read the fine line on.
Well, so many people have been able to enjoy Atlanta. Boy, Atlanta, the airport here, one of the most traveled in all the world. With all these caution laps, we would think that fuel wouldn't be an issue toward the end of this race, but then again, you just never know, because they're going to be trying to push it further than what they're expecting to get for fuel mileage. This is what happened when Austin Hill won in the spring, and you see all of these cars that ran out of fuel on the final restart.
Final stage basically went green start to finish, so it stretched it out to over 80 laps. 21 of Austin Hill made it to the finish, and unfortunately Jesse Love did not after dominating that race.
Here are all the cars that ran out of gas. Cole Custer, Riley Herbst, Ryan Sieg. These guys are thinking, okay, we cannot have a replay of what happened this spring.
Yeah, now you know why Cole Custer was asking, are we okay on fuel?
A+.
Experience.
A+.
Sort of, kind of A+.
I mean, he's reasonably somewhat confident.
And take a look at the choose. The 19.
Yeah,
Taylor
three
Gray.
guys all take the top, which means the fourth car in line goes all the way up to the inside of the front row.
Not a popular spot on that lower line. Let's see what happens with Taylor Gray. We saw the 81 of Chandler Smith as well as the 00 work that inside line, and it ended up working for Cole Custer. He was able to take the lead. We'll see if he can hold off the 19 of Taylor Gray on this restart. It'll be 48 laps remaining. Two by two again, up through the gears and back to racing here in Atlanta. Big push from Chandler Smith on that 00 now of Cole Custer. As Taylor Gray, can he clear Chandler Smith to take second away? He's not going to be able to take that spot.
The two of Jesse Love does, though. He slides up that blue and white car right in front of A.J. Allmendinger. That kind of stacks up the upper lane.
Gray still fighting on the bottom of the racetrack, has Anthony Alfredo behind him in the 5. We'll see if those two can work together. No, Alfredo's going to go to the inside of that 19, leave him hanging, and take the spot away.
Oh, he went way up the racetrack, almost got into the left front fender of the 19.
The 21 of Austin Hill, he was looking to the inside of that 5 of Alfredo.
As badly as these cars have driven, you don't want to be in the middle. You have no air on your car in there.
Says the 19. Custer, Smith, Herbst, Love, Allmendinger, the top 5.
There's that 7 car working himself back up. Those 4 tires gave up a lot of track position. He and Sieg were together. He's been able to get away from Sieg. Sieg's gotten stuck in this traffic. Allgaier's found a way to get through it.
And Allgaier in front of Austin Hill, but for how long? The big run out of the 19 on that inside line gets to the door of the 7. Tries to side draft Allgaier. Taylor Gray, just 19 years old.
There's that 39 of Sieg. He's going to have to find a gap in between some cars that he can try to fill to get up in this top lane.
A couple Georgia drivers were side by side there for a moment in the 21 and the 39.
And there's the gap that he needed in front of Brandon Jones. Now he's going to take this outside lane.
And now you kind of have to dial your patience in a little bit. 43 to go. You do want to continue to move forward, but Jeff, you said it time and time again. If you pull out a line, you have to have at least a plan. So as we see the 7 right here, he might turn left, I think, on the 20. Nope, he gets in line. But that's because of the gap in front of the 20. He has somewhere to go.
I think you may see him turn left right here. He lost some momentum getting into the corner, so he couldn't do it. It's the timing of it, right? If you get the timing wrong, you try to make that pass, it ends up costing you.
Another big run here by Sieg in the 39. Got to the back bumper of Hill.
These guys, they're in the front 5, they're content to stay in line. You're going to have to prove to them that you can catch them before you see them starting to get out of line trying to make moves.
There goes the 7, turn to the bottom. He's going to slide right up in front of the 20. You mentioned it, timing. Look at the veteran move by the 7. He waited an extra couple laps, kind of sized up where was the right place, and he popped out of line. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to see right here. Oh, I didn't know if there's a spot for Corey Hyman, the 26, but he forces Truex out of the way.
Yeah, he made a spot right there. He drifted up the racetrack.
Truex is not going to appreciate that. The 26 gave him no choice. The 21 then goes on the attack and gets the position, and just like that, Ryan Truex, last car in line.
Taylor Gray also following after that 21, taking another spot.
Oh, yeah, there you go, Jeff. Allgaier kind of got forced out of line. I don't know if he has the momentum to go by Williams. Oh, man, he rolls the bottom with such great speed. Will he be clear on exit? He will.
He does, but the 39 of Sieg is not going to be able to. There's no gap to fill from behind. So they're on the outside of him.
39 and the 7 have been two of the fastest cars today. 39 had electrical issues early, went 2 laps down, has gotten both of those back because of cautions. And now he tucks in behind Taylor Gray.
And all that work he did, he just lost 3 spots trying to make a move at the wrong time. You rarely see somebody push another guy and it help the one that's pushing. The only one that gets help is the guy that got pushed. So watch this right here. Clearly the 19 not driving well. Sieg's able to drive right underneath him, but can't clear him. So now he's going to just go all the way to the back, get back behind him, try to get his timing right.
Where's the right timing, Jeff?
The corner entry. If the 39 is able to get forward momentum down the back straightaway, and you can turn left on corner entry, that's the place where you can gain the most. If you're out driving him, though, we've seen the 7 jump the outside of guys. That's worked for him.
Getting a little dicey up front here as Custer continues to lead, but we see the 2 of Jesse Love ducking out of line.
Allmendinger baited the 2 right into that. He had run the bottom 3 or 4 times through 3 and 4. So at the end of the backstretch, the 2 just goes to the bottom like Allmendinger's going to follow him, and Allmendinger just decides to run the middle and easily just picks up the position.
So he's pretty good at poker, the bluff there.
It was very, very well done. As we see now, the bottom of the screen, the 21, he's going to slide up in front of Heim in that 26. All the players starting to move towards the front of the field a little bit at a time with 35 to go.
Taylor Gray in the 19 also trying to make the pass, but it's Cole Custer out in front of the field at Atlanta with 35 to go.
Dude, what are you doing? I'm protecting my car. That's too much work. WeatherTech is so much easier. Laser measured floor liners up here, seat protector and cargo liner back there. Nice. Out here, side window deflectors and mud flaps and the bump step to keep the bumper dent free. Cool. It's the best protection for your vehicle, new or pre-owned. Great. But where do I order? WeatherTech.com.
Reputations are earned. They're built with hard work, time, and consistency. They're respected, trusted. They're real, and they're rare. Introducing Traveler Whiskey, the result of reputation.
This is the make or break moment.
Oh my goodness!
Not just for the day, but for the years to come. This is where a race isn't just about the race. It's about the doors it can open.
That kid is amazing.
The number of fans wearing your number. This is the chance to carve your name into the history books. This is the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Get ready.
Hell no.
To scream for the camera.
You're on scare tactics!
Scare Air Tactics. Series premiere Friday, October 4th on USA.
Wanted to watch a little TV. What's on?
SVU.
SVU. SVU. SVU. SVU.
SVU. SVU.
SVU.
Special Victims Unit.
SVU.
SVU.
SVU. SVU.
SVU.
SVU. You want to watch?
Too wide for the lead once again at Atlanta. It's the Focused Health 250 with 31 laps to go. Allmendinger aggressively has been to the inside of the 00 of Cole Custer. Now he gets a shove in the middle of the turn from the 98. That doesn't help him out. He starts to drop back. Riley Herbst takes the spot.
Wow. That is aggressive racing. Allmendinger had an issue with his car, had to check up. Riley Herbst did not get slowed down. It has gotten wild these last 2 laps.
A little side drafting, but a little contact there between Allgaier and the 98, and here comes the 21. So Allgaier has made his way now up to 3rd. Austin Hill to 4th, well, fighting for that 4th spot, now 5th. But those two with the freshest tires, the 7 and the 21.
You see how the 7 can almost drive the car in front of him. Just shove him off into the corner, requiring the 81 to go up to the 3rd lane. Now the 7 is going to continue to push. He knows if he pulls out of line at the wrong time, will the 81 make the move? Oh, he'll try. Will the 7 go with him, or will it get in line with the 00?
Oh, he stays to his right rear quarter panel, slows the 81 down. Now the 7, you said it, Steve, it's driving the other cars. Oh, I thought he could have jumped to the outside, taking that spot.
Getting very aggressive up toward the front as we take a look at the Toyota driver update. Chandler Smith currently running in 2nd, maybe taking the lead here as he got a big shove from the 7 to the bottom of the racetrack, and Chandler Smith has cleared Cole Custer. He now has the lead.
Now the 7 is in that tough spot, SHR in front and behind. Although I think it's not about needing help, it's about having a place to go when you take the run. Oh, the 98 is going to go to the left rear quarter of the 7.
00 had issues right there, and it slowed the 7 down. But now the 98 is in a bad spot.
Oh, a great move by the 7. He turns to the bottom of the 00 to see the 18 of Creed slow on the apron.
I don't like this move by the 7. I think it's not going to work out for him. Can he get behind the 00 and fill this gap before the 21 gets there? The 21 knows the 7 is fast. He's not going to help him.
You see the veteran move by the 00. When the 7 goes to the bottom, he chases him down there. Right here. Can he pull the 00 back? Oh, yeah, right there.
Here comes the 21. 7's going to be quick on corner entry, but not quick enough because the 21 helped the 00.
Those two running side by side for 2nd, allowing Chandler Smith to have a great view in his rearview mirror.
I'm shocked the 7's been able to stay here this long.
We saw it earlier in stage 1. He fought his way by himself on the bottom of the racetrack up to the lead.
Well, now they're very organized on the outside, and that's bad news for the 7 unless he can sneak in right here in front of Gray. He's trying to, but the door closed before he could get in there.
And he couldn't pull the 21 back. Did he get enough? Is there a gap there? Is he going to be able to clear him? He does. He gets just in front of Austin Hill, and now he takes 3rd back.
That move right there of getting in line can be the difference for the 7. Now he has to take a breath. He's been so good at picking and choosing his moments. He got a little out one time there. And how about on the bottom now? Brandon Jones in the 9. A must win for the 9 to make the playoffs. And here he is inside the top 5.
And looking strong as he's on the bottom of the racetrack on the inside of the 21 of Hill.
21 Hill's car is not driving well at all.
Great job by Brandon to fill that slot. We haven't talked much about the 9. You see the damage that on the right rear quarter. They had that long pit stop to fix it. The damage was early. Brandon's not waiting a corner to the bottom of the racetrack.
He said, let me try to go for the lead here.
Oh, he almost wrecked.
And he'll drop all the way back now. Lost a lot of momentum, and there's no place for him to go.
He just ran out of patience. He had made some great moves. Kind of needed to just settle in a little bit and let the timing work out. Watch him, he gets this run, and then right here, he is out of the racetrack big time. Had to lift or make contact with the 81.
Hill fighting for third now with Allgaier. So Hill was on the inside of Allgaier, pulled him back a little but couldn't make the pass. And the 39, watch for Ryan Sieg as well. He's been working the bottom of the racetrack. Things are picking up here in Atlanta.
Yeah, this is fun. This has been really good racing. Allgaier wants to pull the trigger here. He's just afraid to make the move and it not work out.
Although I'll admit, Brandon Jones has kind of got back in the mix quicker than I thought. I thought he was going to lose more spots, Rick.
Who will make a mistake? Who will be the most aggressive? Coming up on 20 laps remaining in the race. Chandler Smith has been flawless as far as his line up front. Hasn't been challenged for quite a few laps here for the lead. We'll see if that changes with 20 to go.
There you go. 7 pops out of line. As he's been doing, he's going to try to slide up the hill in front of the 00. No, he's going to get all the way to the inside of the 81, which unfortunately, if he doesn't clear the 81, I think is a negative. And here comes a run on the outside. A huge run by the 00, pushes the 81.
The 7 all the way at the bottom of the racetrack. The shortest distance, but now the momentum on that outside line.
Big side draft right there, trying to slow him down. Was very effective in slowing the 00 down.
But it almost just slows the 00 down back to the bumper of the 19 and shoots him back into the corner. Here we go. We'll see if this time if he fills the hole. Nope, he's still working on it. But right here, look at this push.
Whoa, they wrecking.
Problem for the 7. He's going to get into the wall. They wreck in turn 3. Cole Custer, Herbst, Ryan Sieg all involved as well. The 19 of Taylor Gray and the 7 of Allgaier.
39 of Sieg down the track as well with a ton of damage.
Good. He blew a tire. We just side drafted and got together.
We heard the radio. Somebody said they side drafted and got together.
Remember, Sieg was just outside the top 12. And such a fast race car here in his home state.
It's a bumper cover on the roof or side of the 2.
Little extra downforce here for the 2. There's the car missing the bumper cover.
Never seen that.
That's a new one.
Required piece.
Yeah, but you can't have 2. You can't have 2. He's got to bring it back to the 98.
Are you sure?
That's not funny.
You laughed.
I had to, but it wasn't funny. Look at that. That is wild. You saw it coming, though. The intensity level was picking up. Drivers were trying to make moves. Laps were starting to come down. These two are side by side, Custer and Allgaier. Big push coming from the 19. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the 7 of Allgaier was trying to stay against the 00 of Custer to side draft him or something. Contact there. We heard somebody say something about a tire down. I don't know if. Just right along.
I mean, the 17, it looks like there's some contact, and the 17 goes straight, but I can't tell if he's coming up the track because of a handling issue or a tire going down. I mean, right there, right? He needs to be turning left, and he's going up the racetrack into the 19, into the 00.
It's really odd looking.
That contact right there, could that have done something to the right front of the 7?
Yeah, it's hard to say. And with so much contact, it'll be interesting to see what Allgaier says.
I wonder, you know, Allgaier entering the corner that close to Custer, did it just pull the air off the car? You know, did it just get loose right here? And now he can't turn it. That's just, it's just cars really in close proximity to each other.
Right along with Austin Hill.
Well, he wasn't expecting it. He had his.
Yeah.
So watch the 19 here. I don't know. It's hard for me to point a finger and say obviously somebody did something wrong, but just not real sure who it is. So the 7 checked up because there was contact, right? And then the 19 got into him, but the 19 didn't get into him for any other reason than the 7 checking up. Watch how slow the 7 gets right there.
Yeah, you mentioned it. The 7 should be turning left there, and he's going straight.
And slowing
up toward
down.
the wall, yeah. A lot of contact right there. And then the 7 into the wall, collecting the 19. Let's listen into the 7 radio.
We're wrecking.
19 cut my right front, going down into the corner. Turned in the right front.
Well, there you have it. That's why he was having to slow down so much.
And no work's being done because we're under red flag. And look, the side drafts are effective, but you know, you have to get closer and closer. He said the 19 cut his right front. If anybody cut his right front, it had to be the 00.
Yeah.
That was the contact I saw. You know, maybe after that radio, if we take one more look, it looks to me like there's definitely contact. I mean, it's not hard contact, but if you get misaligned in the right spot, I wonder if the right front of the 7 isn't just in that perfect spot.
Some hand signals going from the NASCAR officials to crew chief. They're trying to put a plan together, but this caution comes out. There was that contact between the 00 and the 7. The 7 drifts up the racetrack here, collects the 19 and the 00, as well as a few others. Red flag is out here at Atlanta. There are only 18 laps remaining in this Xfinity Series race, and quite a few cars were caught up in this most recent incident, so there's a pretty good sized cleanup taking place in turns 3 and 4. Let's take another look at this. We've heard a lot of drivers talk about maybe a right front tire down.
Yeah, look at the front view. The 7, the 00, they make contact right here, right there. And Allgaier said he cut the right front and it wouldn't turn. If it was cut, that's where it did it. And now clearly the 7 can't make the corner. So either the 7, either Allgaier had a right front down here, and if he says he had a right front down, he's done this long enough for me to believe him. He knows what he feels.
Whether it was a right front down or air, result the same, right? They got to the end of the straightaway and the 7 doesn't follow the arc of the corner, right? I mean, he's trying. Allgaier knows there's cars up there, but straight up the hill and into the 00, the 19, collects them all.
Let's listen in to Taylor Gray's radio.
Self-inflicted. Yeah, I wasn't really sure. I mean, like, he was bouncing off the 39, so I didn't know if he cut a right front down or what happened.
It's kind of hard to tell because it all happened at one time, but nonetheless, he didn't cut himself any slack, which is kind of his MO anyways.
Now, that's just the lap that they wrecked. I will tell you, if you go back and watch the last 5 laps, there's multiple times where they get contact or even next to one another. You could have a slow leak. I mean, the side drafts, it's easy to say he's being too aggressive, but if you don't side draft that aggressively, I don't think you can make the bottom work.
Let's see if we can dial up the driver from Talking Rock, Georgia. Chandler Smith out in front of this race.
Chandler's guys up in the booth. You got us?
I sure do.
All right, things are starting to get wild. What's the game plan here?
Just trying to stay out front and control this thing. We've had a really fast number 81 Wheeler GR Super. It's been as fast as I can sit on the internet all day. Just trying to stay in front of the chaos and try to manage this race. Everybody's trying to shuck each other. Everybody's being extremely aggressive with side draft and just everything. It feels like it's a truck race a little bit here, but if we can stay in front of the chaos, hopefully we'll end up with a decent finish.
Well, a lot of the guys that you've raced all day just got in that accident into turn 3. So when you look around, do you have enough experience to know what the people you're going to be racing here are going to try to work against you?
I mean, we kind of have all cards against us here with most of the RCR campus and Chevys behind us. And we got one Toyota, maybe the 20. I think he's back there too, but I don't think he's close enough. So I'm just going to have to block for my life here and try to manage all these runs. So.
All right, good luck. Thanks for taking time.
Yep, thank you guys.
And Jeff, I'm glad that you didn't mention to him that Austin Hill is right behind him, because they finished 1 and 2 earlier this year, with Austin Hill getting the win and Chandler Smith finishing in the 2nd spot. All right, let's get the perspective of the guys on the Peacock pit box. DJ, KP, what do you think? 18 to go. Is that the last caution we saw?
Yeah, thanks for the laugh. Here's what I'm going to say. I think we just showed that at 140 laps they run out of patience, because that's what happened. You have to it's take time. These guys know with only 18 laps to go, whatever, it's time to take. They can't just give up these positions anymore.
Yeah, and as we've seen there, I mean, one of the best at side drafting, Justin Allgaier, he knew once you make that move to the inside, you get yourself in that position, then you have to try to slow those cars down beside you, or you're just going to continue back. And Justin knew that he couldn't do that. It's, you know, like Jeff Burton said, I'm going to believe Justin Allgaier that his tire was cut, and that's what created this. But we're down under 20 laps, and it's just time to do everything you can possibly do to keep yourself in that position. That's going to continue. I'm really anxious to see who's going to pit and get tires. I think there is an advantage to that, and the number of really fast cars are way down now, so I think that you could motor through. A.J. Allmendinger, I think we've already heard, may pit, and we'll have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, in the day where all we've talked about is handling.
Yeah.
The tires go hand in hand with handling, so we're going to have to say that. I think a lot of people in this incident right here, when you look at Cole Custer and look at these guys, I think they expected Justin Allgaier to go to the bottom. That's what he had been doing all day long. He'd side draft you down the straight and then cut to the inside. He didn't. It was an aggressive side draft into the corner that put them all in that position. But I'm with you. It's going to be interesting to see who puts on tires. This thing with Sammy Smith and Ryan Sieg has swung back and forth all day. Hate that for Ryan Sieg. Sammy Smith did a great job avoiding that accident.
Yeah, and I'd keep my eye on Corey Heim also. Done a great job all day of mixing it up.
Corey Heim currently in the 3rd spot. We're under a red flag condition. That's why you see all the crew members standing there looking at the car. They can't work on it under a red flag condition.
So let's watch this onboard replay one more time, because you get a pretty clear view of the right front. So let's watch this as we drive into the corner. Contact's made. Gonna freeze it right there. You know, right there, it's hard to say the right front's down, but same token, it's hard to say it's not. And again, I'm gonna trust Justin Allgaier. He knows what he's feeling. And a lot of times, Steve, you can't really, if it's down 5, 7, 8, 10 pounds and it's starting to lose it quickly, you can't really see that initially. But
you know what that sounded like? That sounded like you were almost pretty sure. Isn't that what we got out of the crew chief?
Yeah.
Read the fine print.
I'm with you. I'm almost pretty sure as well.
Read the fine print. Well, not the finish that Ryan Sieg was hoping for here in his home state. Had a really fast race car, Kim.
Yeah, roller coaster of a day. Had rebounded, but ultimately got caught up in that accident. What happened?
I'm not even sure. I just saw the 98 in front of me sideways, and that's about all I could see. I tried to check out, but it's just part of the racing here at Speedways. We had made up 2 laps down, and then we're contending right there in the top 5, and then just, looks like 7 just tried to move up on somebody, and then we're just caught up in the mess. But we brought a fast SIOPS forward, just sucky circumstance to come out of here with, you know what I mean, such a, a huge race for us, and to try to get into the playoffs and potentially a win. But we got a plan, and we'll try to execute and just try to move forward to Watkins Glen, and hopefully we'll find ourselves in the playoffs and see what happens.
What does this team need to do over the next 2 weeks?
Just continue to do what we're doing, you know what I mean? Just, you know what I mean? The beginning of the race, luckily enough, we were able to rebound from it, but that was a mistake and could have cost us, you know what I mean, a huge part of our race, but we were able to capitalize, and I was able to drive back through the field, and like I said, we had a fast car. Just got to keep bringing fast cars and just execute and outpoint the other guys and just do something opposite, and really dig deep and try to do all we can do. It just sucks, especially here at home.
With Sieg out, he's going to fall. The furthest he'll fall would be to 32nd. But you see the point difference now. Sammy Smith still on the racetrack, and Sammy running in the 13th position. But 34 points separating Sieg and Smith before the end of this race with 18 laps to go.
Well, that's assuming that line stays there. Let's not forget we saw it at Darlington with the Briscoe win, how we think it's a points battle and all of a sudden the finish line moves. And with that car sitting right there, the 9 of Brandon Jones, right? He's back here in 14th. So if he wins, next thing you know, the line kind of shows up right there. And then Kligerman's on the cut line about 30-something above. So there's a lot to figure out here in this next 18 laps.
Well, let's check back in with Kim. She has Cole Custer.
Yeah, and what preempted that big crash was contact between Cole Custer and Justin Allgaier. So walk us through your perspective, what you saw, what you felt.
I need to see a replay before I really say something, I guess. But I feel like overall it was just hard side drafting. And I mean, I think we just barely touched, and I think he blew it right front, and just, you know, everybody got together after that. So, I mean, yeah, we just barely. I mean, it was just a nick. You know, you're trying to side draft as hard as you can going into 3 to try and, you know, so he doesn't clear you going in there. And I mean, I can't believe that blew his right front. I mean, that light of contact. So it sucks. I mean, I felt like our Autodesk Ford Mustang was pretty good all day. I mean, we could run up there and stay with the best of them. So I'm really proud of what our team was doing there, and, you know, the cars were bringing to the track. So just unfortunate. You know, I hate it. Just hard racing.
Do you feel like ultimately it's just a product of this style racing?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to side draft as hard as you can, and if you don't, I mean, they're going to clear you in the next corner. So you're just doing everything you can to try and pull them back, and it was just maybe a smidge too much.
Unfortunate for Cole Custer, who is out, as well as Ryan Sieg. A couple other involved in this incident. It was the 6th caution. We're under a red flag as they continue to clean up turns 3 and 4 here at Atlanta. Jesse Love does not know what he has to do to get this bumper to get off of the roof of his car. He cannot lose it. And obviously NASCAR's not going to let him restart the race with the 98's bumper cover on his roof.
Probably never had one in the wind tunnel like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know we're under yellow, but they're still riding around at 50, 55, 60 miles an hour. You would think it would blow the thing off there.
Yeah, it's weird how it's still attached.
Start whipping that thing back and around.
He's trying.
Stockman's telling him,
Danny, he might as well just come see you.
He's going to. He's committed to
I
pit
want to
road.
see how easy it comes off in the pit stall.
That thing should just pick right up.
All right.
They must know.
That's their assessment.
There is no locking bumpers rule, right?
Yeah, neither one are going to get penalized for this.
The 2 just drove by the 9. I'm not sure what the 9 of Brandon Jones is doing. He's not on pit road. He's actually on the apron between pit road and the racetrack back in the middle of turn 4. I don't know what the 9's doing.
Doesn't appear to be under power.
Yeah, he's slow.
I'm at a complete 0 here.
Oh,
Car won't run either.
Sitting inside the top 5. This team has 0 luck.
No luck whatsoever. Dave.
Jesse Love said, I want a water bottle, I want a tear off, there goes the tear off, and I want a take off, there goes the take off. The bumper cover is off the roof. Said the car was a little bit tight, but not bad. He'll get 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Marty.
So how about this move from Alex Yance? AJ Allmendinger said the middle of the run, I knew we should have pitted under that last caution, so they'll pit here with just a handful of laps left from 11th. Fresh tires. AJ saying, I just cannot hang on to the car anymore. And for Brandon Jones, you can see his teammate pushing him out, actually down pit road. So he said he lost complete power inside the car and all fuel pressure. But the 7 being a nice teammate here, pushing Brandon Jones down pit road to his pit stall.
Yeah,
he can do that.
Yeah. I'm shocked at what's wrong with the 9, though. I mean, he was just sitting under red. It fired because he... I don't know.
The 7, after sitting in his pit stall and the crew looking to do work on it, has now pulled behind the wall, and they go to work on the 9.
Trading is all get out, but y'all brought a heck of a race car, so thank you very much.
That was Allgaier.
Yes, they did. Fired up now, out of gas.
I mean, I can't.
It won't stay fired, Jeff. That's the problem. They're spraying fuel directly into the cowl, Steve. Sort of like old school. You don't see this on the Cup side anymore, but it will not stay fired for Brandon Jones.
So you wonder if it's a fuel pump issue, a fuel cable issue. You know, if it'll run with the fuel going directly into the carburetor, you know, that tells you the engine will run.
Go.
Strange.
It's very strange, Rick, because, you know, he was last on pit road about 60-something laps, so you would have thought he had enough fuel in it, but obviously something amiss on the 9 car.
Maybe a fuel pickup problem.
Yeah.
Something wrong in the fuel cells. It kept picking the fuel up, and they had to get it full and then prime the carburetor. There's a tube that goes from that cowl all the way into the carburetor. You can fill that bottle up with fuel, and you just push it in there and literally fill the carburetor bowls up with fuel, fire it off, and then once it fires off, then the fuel pump starts working, and that'll pull the fuel from the fuel cell.
They'll be coming to the choose this time, so it'll be a restart with 13 laps to go.
All right, so now, Jeff, we have seen time and time when the race wasn't on the line, 3-4 cars pick the outside. Who goes to the bottom? Well, I think which car in line do you think makes the decision?
Well, there's a lot of people with a ton to win today. Josh Williams, if he could win this race, he's in the playoffs. Anthony Alfredo, if he could win this race, he's in the playoffs. Parker Kligerman, he's pretty good point shape anyway. I almost wonder what Parker Kligerman would do, right? Like he's great in points. Is it worth wrecking over? Is he going to push the issue that hard?
Or does he need that win? I mean, we don't know what his 2025 looks like. Does a win put him in a position where he's more valuable to whatever team if it's, you know, staying with the organization he's with now? As we see the choose, wow, Austin Hill.
There you go. You know where Austin Hill's mindset is. Yes. He's come to win the race. He wants to be on the front row.
Josh Williams in that white and blue car, he couldn't decide what he wanted to do. He's like, bottom, top, bottom. Ended up going to the bottom. Quick decision.
Marty, what was going on with the 9 and Brandon Jones?
I checked in with Adam Wall. He said he's not sure exactly what was going on with the fuel, but he said it could have been the way, as Jeff pointed out a moment ago, the way it was sitting under the red flag. But they would have needed to pit anyway, because look at the right rear tire for Brandon Jones. That body damage from earlier is on top of that right rear tire. You can see where it's just literally wearing that right rear out. It was flat when he came to pit road.
Well, the fuel was unfortunate, but good report by Marty. Now we'll just see if this new right rear tire, if the damage, you know, I know they have it repaired, but has something internally like a crush panel blown down, will it continue to be an issue?
Talked about the 11 of Josh Williams. What a great moment for him. First year at college running full time, came into this year so amped up, wanting to do well. Now he has a shot.
And remember, he's eligible for the playoffs. So if that 11 wins the race from below the cut line, much like we mentioned with the 9, that would put him into the playoffs.
Yeah, Corey Hyman, that 26, he is not eligible, but that car would be.
Mixes everything up. Pace car off the track. 13 to go in the race. Chandler Smith, the control car in the 81 on the outside. Austin Hill, one in the spring. He's on the inside. We thought it was aggressive before with 20 to go. Now. Down the backstretch, a big push coming from Heim to the 81. Josh Williams gets off the back bumper of the 21.
Well, the 21 has a good speed through the middle of the corner. Will he try to slide up? He will.
Right in front of Chandler Smith, and now the crossover. Chandler Smith's going to try to take the lead back.
They lost a lot of momentum, though.
That 21 couldn't have been in front of the 81 by more than 3 or 4 inches.
And the 81's going to fill that gap. Now Josh Williams leading that inside line. Doesn't have the help he wants, though, from Ryan Truex in the 20.
81 up the racetrack, though. Still able to come back on him.
They talk about trophy hunting at Colleague Racing. Josh Williams made the move to Colleague to see if he could potentially get to victory lane. And now he's in striking distance, running forward on that inside line. Hill controlling this race out in front. Since the reconfiguration, there have been 5 Xfinity Series races here in Atlanta. Austin Hill has won 3 of them. Take a look at the 81 here, second car in line.
Yeah, Josh Williams into the left rear quarter panel. Knocked him sideways through the tri-oval.
Coming up on 9 to go, Jeff, is this strategy that we're seeing out of Hill to where he runs the bottom of the racetrack through 3 and 4 for sure, and sometimes through 1 and 2. Is he saying, guys, if you're going to pass me, you're going to have to go to the outside?
Yeah, he is. And I think it's the right thing to do this late in the race. No one's going to just follow you up to the outside. Contact. Oh, they almost wrecked right there. A lot of pushing and shoving.
Josh Williams in the 11 stays down on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Parker Kligerman. And how about Lawless Allen? Running in that number 15, he is 5th, right behind the 48 of Kligerman. Just his 2nd start. Lawless Allen in the 15.
You see that move Josh Williams made, that blue and white car. It just did not work out for him, Steve. Lost a ton of track position.
And still kind of just trapped on the bottom, continuing to lose spots. That's really the question. I think Chandler Smith, Corey Heim, they're patient in 2nd and 3rd. But Kligerman in 4th, Lawless Allen 5th. The 8 of Sammy Smith. Here's A.J. Allmendinger coming back towards the front. Allmendinger with the fresher tires. Does that give his car enough grip to run the bottom better than those in front of him?
And is 6 laps enough? Chandler Smith looking so strong in the 81 right now. Right behind Austin Hill. This is the way it finished in the spring. Hill, Chandler Smith. And those two have separated themselves. Corey Heim running 3rd in the 26.
So when they run the bottom, they definitely pull away from 3rd. But the problem with that is 3rd kind of has a run on them at the end of the straightaway. So they were on the middle of the racetrack here in 1 and 2. But 3 and 4 last time they ran right around the white line around the bottom.
Top 3 all from the state of Georgia.
So what the 81 of Chandler Smith may start thinking about doing is actually slowing down a little bit, getting away from the car in front of him. But when the 21 sees Chandler do that, he's going to slow down. You want to try to create a gap to build some forward momentum, trying to time it right to catch him in the corner. Now this is a good opportunity with Corey Heim with a push down the back straightaway. Good run right here.
Oh, he stays behind the 21. Maybe thinks it's too early to make that run. Coming up on 3 laps to go.
I think for the lead, I think this late in the race, you have to make the move. You have to hope the guy behind you goes with you.
Lawless Allen coming up to the back bumper of the 48. Big run by Sammy Smith in the 8. He drifts up the racetrack. They're 3 wide now back there for the 6th spot.
All right, so that took some momentum away from the pack because they are side by side.
And contact made just a bit as Lawless Allen goes up the racetrack. He's able to collect it. Coming up on 2 laps to go.
It was actually a great save by the 15. I thought he was wrecking. I believe it's going to be settled amongst these 4, though, Rick.
Chandler Smith had an opportunity to make a move down the back straightaway a few laps ago. He didn't make it.
Does he take it this time? He's got the momentum. He gets to the back bumper again and stays there. Oh, almost gets the 21 sideways. And now here comes Chandler Smith. He's to the inside for the lead. No help behind him, though. Corey Heim is going to push the 21. 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Chandler Smith dropping back. Now he's going to fight for 4th. Here comes the 26 on the outside, Corey Heim. And he gets sideways. Parker Kligerman with a run. A.J. Allmendinger, fresher tires, also coming into the picture. The last time through 3 and 4. The 21 pulling away. Austin Hill's going to do it again. He'll sweep Atlanta. 4 wins at this racetrack.
Good job, Derek. I thought I messed that up. Good job. Appreciate all the hard work. It was a handful, but we got it done, baby.
So many times people will say anybody can win when you come to a drafting racetrack, but there's a reason why Austin Hill has now won 7 times at this style of racing.
Well, great teamwork.
Look at the names joining on this list.
Very impressive. And you nowhere near the fastest car today. Found a way to do it.
Big, big day for Bennett. They had over 100 people here to enjoy this race, and now they're going to be able to enjoy in victory lane.
Marcus Smith ain't gonna be very impressed. Tearing his grass up.
I think he's parking it right on top of that Bennett logo.
That's a classy move.
I like that. That's well done. You want to talk about a little bit of sponsor recognition. Yeah. Impressive move.
So many times we see the winner of the race park it on the start-finish line. An ideal situation here for Austin Hill. With his sponsor's logo in the grass, he parks right next to it.
Well, I guess we should have figured that if you, nice 10 spot right there. Timmy Latiga, car chief there, giving him a hand as well. I guess we should have figured if you put the sponsor's logo at a certain place on the infield, that's where the driver's going to head. If he pulls off an incredible win like he just did. Austin, I'm thinking that wasn't the best handling car all day. How in the world did you do this one?
Oh my God, it was just resilience with this whole Bennett 21 team. Like you said, our Bennett Chevrolet wasn't handling great all day. It wasn't as fast as Xfinity Internet, and well, it had speed. I can't say that. It had plenty of speed. Just the handle on it was tough all day. We had to dig deep for that one. The 81 got into 3 and had me jacked up. He's doing what he has to do to try to win. Very surprised that the 26 pushed me there and didn't go with a Toyota. And then I thought that I messed up.
Pick him up.
I thought that I messed up in the 1 and 2. And I hate it that he got in the fence. I wasn't trying to run him in the fence. I was just trying to, like, get him aero tight or get him aero loose, because that was happening to me a lot today. If anyone kind of ran up the track from the bottom, I would have big moments. So I was trying to do that to him, and I saw him get in the wall, and I was like, oh, man. And then I just had to keep the 48 there. I got down into 3, and that's the first time all day I got, like, extremely tight into 3. But we had enough of momentum off of 4 that it didn't matter. But I can't. This is insane. Like, to win with this gold car, Bennett's 50th anniversary, this is their biggest race of the entire year. To do this for our sponsor, it means a lot. Yeah, we won, buddy. And then there's over 500 people here for Bennett, you know, employees, friends, family, you name it. So, yeah, there they are. So, yeah, I can't thank everyone enough from Bennett. RCR, ECR engines were good all day. We're going to celebrate this one because it didn't come easy.
And make sure you introduce the world to this. Who is this?
This is Barrett. He is wild.
Barrett, are you wild?
Go Dogs?
Yeah, he is. And he's glad that Dad ended up in victory lane, or close to it. He ended up at the logo, Rick, and that was more important.
A big smile on his face, asking, Dad, did you win? Dad, did you win? Yes, your dad just won, and you're going to celebrate with him. You saw some of the folks from Bennett that are here. He mentioned almost 500 people are associated with Bennett. He parked it right on the logo. But what a run. Had to work for this one. 7 times now he has won on drafting style tracks. Crew celebrating again. 3rd win of the season for Austin Hill, and he gets just a little bit closer now to regular season leader Justin Allgaier. I think wife Ashlyn has stepped in here and said, nah, I'll take care of Barrett. You go to victory lane here in Atlanta. And another celebration. Now, Austin Hill referenced, oh, he's going to get Barrett in the car with him. That's pretty good of Ashlyn there. So he referenced he was surprised that the 26 went with him as opposed to the 81.
Yeah, well, let's watch what happened. Chandler Smith, with a big run all the way down the back straightaway, is just pushing Austin Hill. And he pushes him far enough into the corner where he gets him loose, lets go of him to keep him from wrecking him, then drives underneath him. And right now, you know he's thinking, all right, Corey Heim, the 26 in a Toyota, he's going to come push me. Corey Heim decides to go with the 21. Look, I don't think Corey Heim was doing that to hurt by any means. He's trying to win the race. And right here, he almost gets it done and then contact with the wall. If he gets to the right rear of the 21, is able to stay there, he has a real shot to win the race. So it's easy to say, hey, Corey, you should have gone with a Toyota. He put himself in position to win the race by making that move.
Let's hear from Chandler Smith. Kim's with him.
Yeah, he finishes 4th after looking like could get the win there. Austin Hill said he was surprised the 26 of Corey Heim with him. Are you surprised?
Yeah, we're Toyota teammates, and I got clear out of the restart zone and could have went bottom and hung him up top to be the leader, the top lane, and I didn't. I stayed up top with my Toyota teammate and ultimately gave up the lead doing that. So, yeah, I expected my Toyota teammates to come with me, and that didn't happen, and is what it is. So, I mean, we had a really fast number 81 Wheelers GR Super all day. It was fast as Xfinity Internet. I feel like I've been robbed from 3 Atlanta wins now, unfortunately, in my career here. And I'm kind of speechless, honestly. There's a lot of different things I could have done that I could have been more selfish, and when I got cleared, went to the bottom and covered that and just controlled the race for sure. I was trying to be a good teammate, and it didn't pay off for me today, as usual.
A disappointed Chandler Smith.
And we hear that a lot from drivers. I should have been more selfish. And right now, a guy that's headed to victory lane, Austin Hill, he knows that he's done the right thing as he's going back to victory lane here at Atlanta. For more post-race coverage, let's go down to the Peacock pit box with Marty, KP, and DJ.
Rick, what a day for the Hill family. Young Barrett getting a ride there with Dad to victory lane, and another win at Atlanta Motor Speedway for Austin Hill. We'll get to that plenty in a moment, but I want to continue with this topic, DJ, because if you're a teammate, in theory a teammate, you're supposed to push your teammate to the win. So if you're a Toyota executive, what would you be saying to Corey Heim right now?
Well, yeah, I get it. I know what they're expecting, and I would ask him the question as to why he didn't make that move. And maybe there's more to the story than what we actually know, because it looked like that they had worked together maybe earlier. And you would think, I believe Chandler Smith, that he made that move because of who he had directly behind him, waited to that point in time, expecting that to happen. So I'm sure there'll be a conversation. It'd be interesting to see if we hear about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, we go back to Daytona, Parker Resloff. People complain because he pushes it forward.
Yeah.
Okay, the kid's trying to win his first race. He's trying to win a race. How do you know that Corey Heim's not thinking, okay, if I get up here behind this 21, I've passed him 3 or 4 times today, I can pass Austin Hill, and I can win this race. Is Toyota going to be upset if he passes him? If he doesn't, if he hangs his teammate out and then passes for the win, are they going to be upset? It's the circumstances that were upsetting him, not basically what he did. Because listen, we can talk this teammate crap until my eyes are browner than they are right now. But once you get in that race car, you got to take. You got to take, you got to take, you got to take. Especially, they came to us down here on the booth, on the box, and it was like, we are in the take zone. Take everything you can. That teammate stuff goes out at the end of the race as far as I'm concerned. I don't care who's paying the bills.
And listen, at the end of the day, he's in a Toyota this afternoon, but we don't know the future for Corey Heim. We don't know if he's going to be in a Toyota moving forward. Right now, Corey Heim, the center of all the chat, is with Kim Kuhn.
Yeah, Marty comes home fifth. A lot of discussion about you choosing to go with Austin Hill, a Chevrolet, versus Chandler Smith, a Toyota. Walk us through that thought process.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the move was going to be made on a straightaway, not in the middle of the corner. So if he wanted me to push him by, I mean, I feel like if he just dropped back and, dropped to my bumper at a 4 on the straightaway and, had ourselves both an opportunity to win the race, I would have gladly pushed him. But, I mean, he had no run or no momentum, so why go to the bottom at that point? I come here to win the race, and for a team like Sam Racing to have an opportunity at their first win, I want to give him that opportunity, and there's no point going to the bottom in the middle of the corner and trying to scoot by the leader. Best car all day at 21, so just wasn't in my best interest, wasn't in his best interest either. I'm not sure why I decided to go down there, but just super thankful for everyone at Sam Hunt Racing, Toyota Racing. Our super was super good today. This is my first start in an Xfinity car at a super speedway, and was so happy with the speed, so I just want to keep this momentum moving forward.
Any fear on repercussions or discussions that will need to be had after this race?
I'll have a discussion on them on when to make the move maybe, but that's about it.
All right, there you go, Kyle. What is your take on his confidence in his non-move?
My take on this is send me my Corey Heim fan club card number. Because that's what he said. I came here to win the race. Yep. I mean, what's your point? I mean, we can argue this into Xfinity. Yeah. You know what I mean? We can argue it forever if you want to, but they came to win the race, and that's what he said. I want to get this team their first race. It was a bad move on his part by making a move in the middle of the corner. He had valid points for everything he did.
But to be fair, DJ, it's a bit of a hot topic after Parker Retzlaff pushed Harrison Burton to the Cup Series win in Daytona and chose not to push Kyle Busch, and he got grief for that for a week, another Chevrolet teammate.
Which I said then was unfounded because
Thank you, Dale Jarrett.
Just what Kyle Petty just said. You're here to win the race, and that's what Corey Heim said. He almost had Austin Hill up beside of him going down through turns 1 and 2, and if he would have got to that spot without getting a little bit too close to the wall, then he might have had that opportunity. But he explained everything perfectly, exactly what happened to Smith. They didn't have that momentum. I can't fault him. He had a plan and he stuck with it.
Corey Heim just texted your shirt's on the way, Kyle.
Yeah, if you want to watch if you want to watch team sports, it's college football day, man. You turn in the racing to watch winners. That's what it's about, baby.
At the end of the day, all the controversy aside, it's Austin Hill who winds up in victory lane again at Atlanta. Maybe we ought to rename this place something like Hill Speedway or something like that. Back with more from Atlanta in a moment. Friday, September 20th, the NASCAR Xfinity Series comes to the CW. It all begins at Bristol, where Dale Jr. will join the field for the final regular season race of the year to decide who's in the playoffs. NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Bristol. Friday, September 20th, 7 Eastern, only on the CW. Kyle, the gap widens in the Xfinity Series playoff standings.
Yeah, I feel terrible for Ryan Sieg. They did a great job of having an issue and recovering, but Sammy Smith did what they needed to do all day, and I said it in pre-race. They need to put 3 races together. He started the day. Is this his march towards the playoff?
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. Now, all Ryan Sieg can do is go try to have 2 of the best races that he's had all season and see where that gets him.
At 2 tough tracks for him. I mean,
it is.
Road course and Bristol, but you never know what can happen, right? We saw that plenty today, didn't we? Parker Kligerman tried to guarantee his spot into the playoffs with a win this afternoon. He wound up second. He's with Kim.
And Parker Kligerman comes home in the 2nd position. You match your career best finish in the Xfinity Series. Not quite enough. What did you need in the end there?
I felt like coming up through, for the last lap, I wanted to almost be 3rd. I felt like if I could get a run, and I got the 16 in the back of me, and we were going off into 3, and I kept getting really tight down there, but I was using brake. I'd crank the brake bias back and sort of getting the car to rotate. And so I did that, and it just took off the track, and so AJ got beside us. I don't know if I could have maybe got to the 21 with AJ, trying to, off of 4, time the run. But congrats to Austin Hill. Obviously, he's a master of this place. But, our Spike Core Chevy started off the day wrecking loose. We were nowhere near as fast as Xfinity Internet, and we I about wrecked, like, the first 2 stages. I was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, we were so sideways, trying to stay the throttle, and then we did tons of rear adjustments, tons of packer adjustments, threw everything at it, and this whole Big Machine team never quit and got us in the game in the 3rd stage. And Kim, I once again was like, hey, this is all lining up. We've done the right things. We went the right directions, changes, but we just didn't have it. But if we keep being this close, does it happen? I know it hasn't happened.
The odds?
It hasn't happened for Sheldon. Sorry to him, but God, I just feel like, yeah, you keep doing it, we could get there. I love this game. It's fun to be there. It's fun to be in those high pressure moments, and as the intensity picks up in those last few laps, you can just feel it. It's bubbling, and you're trying to play the moves and play the chess game. And I just want to be the one to cross the start finish line first.
You leave this race plus 74, looking good to make the playoffs with 2 races to go. This team had so much fight here today. What do you have to do over the next 2 races?
Well, I think it puts us in a really good position points-wise to be aggressive, right? Watkins Glen, one of my favorite places in the world. We're great at road courses. We have some of the best record road courses besides that pesky guy from New Zealand. But, yeah, and then, I mean, Bristol, we were awesome. We were a top 5 car there. It's one of my favorite tracks in the whole world. So we've got 2 great tracks. I would think for us, it's just about winning. You know, we just got to do that so we enter these playoffs with some momentum. I think we still like negative stage points or something right now. So we gotta do something about that.
This team inching closer to that elusive win.
3rd place for A.J. Allmendinger, and I really don't doubt that it was wild to the end there. How'd you get 3rd?
Yeah, it was, our Campers in RV Chevy was really fast. It was great to finally win something this year, won a stage, so that was good. I got really free that 3rd stage there, so it was kind of unexpected because our car had been really good. So it was good that yellow came out. We were able to put on tires, make some adjustments. Alex Janssen, the boys, did a good job there, and got to 5th with 2 to go. And I thought, man, if they stay in line, I was far enough back that I was going to go for the big lunge for the win there. The 81 got shuffled out, and kind of put that plan, kind of a different plan, and the 26 got in the wall, so kind of took a chance out of winning the race, but great to get to a top 5 finish there. It's my son, Aero James's 1st birthday today. I was really hoping to get in victory lane and share it with him, but proud of the race team, and, we're getting better. You love to win these races, and we're trying like heck, but at the end of the day, we're making the cars faster and getting close to the playoffs, making the playoffs, and hopefully we'll be ready to go once we get there.
Got to admit, I kind of questioned that Alex Jantz call to give up 11th to come to pit road for A.J. Allmendinger, but they turned it into a 3rd place finish. Nice job from those guys. So Cup Series racing tomorrow from Atlanta. There you go, 2:30 Eastern on USA right here for Countdown to Green. And then the first race of the 2024 playoffs, we'll show you every green flag lap tomorrow during the Atlanta race, and we'll have a little post-race as well right here on USA. Here's how the points shape up, DJ, heading into the 2024 playoffs.
Yep, whole new look than what we've been talking about for 26 weeks here, and now it's down to who's going to be lucky enough maybe to come out of here tomorrow with an advancement into the round of 12.
Kyle, I think the one thing that kind of jumps out to me is how tight the points are. I mean, really from 4th all the way back to 14th, that's nothing. I mean, that could completely change by the end of the race tomorrow.
It is nothing. This is the playoffs. Anything can happen. Anything can happen here at Atlanta. This is a super speedway now. We're going to see a different race tomorrow than we saw today. Different type cars, obviously, with the Cup cars. Handling is still going to be at a premium. Still going to be at a premium. Dale said it earlier. Those Cup guys came out of their trailers and came back to the garage and said, fix my car for tomorrow. That's what's going to happen. But I'm telling you, man, you're exactly right. From 4th or 5th back, it is a tight field.
And by the way, DJ, here are the tracks in the first round. I've never heard more drivers say, I'm terrified of the tracks in this round. You have Atlanta, which is a complete wild card, and then Watkins Glen with a brand new tire coming up in a couple of weeks that's supposed to have extreme fall off. And then, oh, by the way, it just finishes at Bristol. That's all, DJ.
Yeah, I was talking to Denny Hamlin earlier today and saying, hey, this looks like everything sets up, every round kind of fit. He said, if we can get through the first round. And, and here's the, a driver that, hasn't won that championship, but we know he is championship caliber driver. So he understands just the difficulty that lies ahead for them.
You understand the unknowns that they're talking about. Not only with the race tomorrow, Kyle, but this complete round could be crazy.
This complete round. I mean, how many times do we see guys struggle in the first round and a first race of a round and not make it forward, not move forward? And as close as it is, we could see somebody that we have on our list as a championship contender, not make it out of this first round. That's how unpredictable these 3 races are.
And by the way, you mentioned Denny Hamlin. He will start at the back tomorrow with an engine issue during qualifying. I mean, they already had the penalty a couple weeks ago, DJ. Now this could really put them in a hole right off the bat.
Yeah, if they get everything fixed, I'm not concerned about that part of it. I just think that every driver is concerned about what they saw and heard today with the cars that they brought. Can we fix this? Are we going to be okay? And then the fact that we have never started the playoffs with a race like this, to where, you know, we're always ending the regular season a lot of times at Daytona, where we have this type of racing. But, you know, this could bring someone through to the next round that nobody's really thinking of.
And Kyle, I think if a Cup Series driver did take something away from today, handling was way more important than I think anyone thought it would be coming into the race.
Yeah, handling was king today. It's not about speed. It's if you can drive every lap and be in the gas more than the guy next to you.
Boy, it looked like Justin Allgaier was going to be the car to beat for much of the day today. Sam Mayer looked strong, then had an issue. Sheldon Creed has some issues today. Here was the big wreck that kind of changed everything. But at the end of the day, once again at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, it was Austin Hill. We'll see you tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern, right here on USA for the Cup Series race at Atlanta.